Welcome to BC Place in Vancouver to see who's second best in the West. The Calgary Stampeders, the BC Lions in Friday Night Football. One of the big reasons why the Stamps' offense has improved. The return of Allen Pitch last week against Winnipeg. And this guy, Sean Millington, what a game he had against the Saskatchewan Rough Riders as BC beat them at Taylor Field to set up this game now. And welcome to Friday Night Football Control. I'm Rod Smith. As we get set to tee up the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders, they met back in Week 2. The Lions won it by a point, but a lot has changed for both of these teams since then. My friends are here as usual. Bob Obilovich, Les Brown, Marty York of the Globe and Mail. Lots to talk about. Other aspects in the CFL. Montreal-Winnipeg playing tonight. We'll have highlights of that football game. But first, to tee up this one, and a big, big day on the ground for the BC Lions last week in Saskatchewan. Let's head out to BC Place now and join Gord Miller along with Glenn Suter and Dave Archer.
Rod, last week, Sean Millington was the proverbial young man in a hurry against the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. He had 49 yards rushing going into the game, averaging 2 yards a carry. Well, guess what? He changed that in a hurry against the men in green. He puts up 212 yards rushing on 26 carries. The performance vaulted him from 21st to 12th in the league's rushing standings. The only downside for him, he rushes the equivalent of 2 lengths of the football field and didn't get a touchdown. But he did get the Lions team record for rushing with a performance for the ages, 212 yards, erasing the old mark set by Keevan Jenkins in 1985. Now, Dave Archer, this begs the question. Do the Lions go back to this week against Calgary?
I think certainly Sean Millington was going to touch the ball a significant amount of times, but Damon Allen is going to have to distribute the football, get everybody involved, because they're facing the number 3 rushing team in the league. And they have some ball hawks on their side of the football.
They certainly do. And one of the best stopping the run in the middle. And Alondra Johnson is back in the lineup. Alondra Johnson is great between tackle and tackle. And he won't be asked to do what K.D. Williams and Lamar McGriggs did in Saskatchewan, and that's stunt a lot. Alondra Johnson will stay in the middle, read the run, and slow play the backside, which means last week Sean Millington ran the backside a lot because K.D. Williams and Lamar McGriggs overran the play. Alondra Johnson will slow play it and be there for the run.
Calgary Stampeders may be wondering just who Sean Millington is. In the first meeting between these two teams in week number 2, no carries for no yards. So somewhere in between is what we're expecting tonight. Rod?
Okay, thank you, Gord. And we should point out, after this game is over with, the first half of the Canadian Football League regular season will be in the books. A little early to be talking about playoff spots. Maybe not, Coach. You think about how close these two teams are heading into this game tonight.
This is a huge game for both teams for second place in the tough Western Division. And going into this game, both of these teams are the only 2 teams in the league that are on the plus side of the plus-minus category. Calgary leads with a plus 14, BC plus 11. So whichever team doesn't turn over the ball tonight is probably going to win this game.
And, Coach, both of these teams are coming in here on emotional highs. Calgary's coming in here after winning 3 games straight, and plus they have their main man in Allen Pitts back, and that's scary. Now, you got BC, who's come out last week and just totally destroyed Saskatchewan. But you know what? It'll be interesting to see which BC team shows up because they don't do that every week.
2 good football teams, and they are on a roll, so you don't need much, Marty, to hype this up. But a little bit of stuff going in the papers with Sean Millington and Wally Buono to help spice things.
Yeah, uncharacteristically, Rod, Wally's been egging on the opponents a little bit, saying that if Millington has to carry the ball as many times as he did last week, the Stamps will win this game. But Millington has been saying, you know, come on, he's been cocky. Give me the ball, because I'm going to beat the Stamps just like I beat the Rough Riders last week.
Obi, Dave Archer was asked the question, when you run the ball so successfully, do you go back to that right away, or, as he suggested, mix it up right away with the passes?
Well, I think that was just one of those games where Sean was called upon, and it was the way the game was going, because if you remember that game, they didn't try to run the ball early in the game. They kind of wore Saskatchewan down, and then Sean went crazy, but he's going to try and spread it around, just like Dave said.
I know that's exactly what happened last week. Damon Allen started that whole thing by starting to run the ball on the quarterback draw, and I guess the coaches up in the booth must have seen something that was working, and they said, well, heck, let's just spread them out and give Sean the ball up the middle and see what can happen on the one-on-one tackles, and he was just running through those.
Looking forward to this one tonight. A reminder, we are live and interactive here at TSN, so if you have any questions or comments for us, do it via email, cfl@tsn.ca, and hopefully we'll have a chance to have a look at 1 or 2 of them before we finish our pregame show. Friday Night Football continues right after this on TSN. At Winnipeg Stadium tonight, the Alouettes and the Blue Bombers, and the Bombers open the bag of tricks. Dexter Dawson takes it and then throws it to Milt Stegall. Leading receiver in the CFL catches another one for a touchdown, and don't look now. The 1-7 Blue Bombers taking the initiative over the 5-3 Alouettes. At the half, it is Winnipeg leading Montreal 18-11. We'll update that one, of course, and give you a final before we are done tonight. Well, last week, as we talked about before, Sean Millington had an absolute heyday, one of the finest rushing performances in a league that really features the pass. So whenever you see someone run over 200 yards, it is always noteworthy in the Canadian Football League. And look at that exclusive company up there, Ronnie Stewart and George Reed and Blaze Bryant with a big day as well. Just a few years ago, Sean Millington getting into the act there with 212. And with more on that performance and the Lions ground game, here is TSN's Dave Randorf.
Well, there's no secret who the Stampeders will be trying to contain as they take on the Lions. Offensive Player of the Week, Sean Millington, is coming off a huge 212-yard rushing performance in last week's win against the Riders, setting a team record in the process.
It was up until probably about 30 seconds before the kickoff. I hadn't actually run a full sprint in about 2 weeks, and I really didn't know whether or not I was going to be able to go that game or not. And I'd been down on my knees basically and praying and said, hey, if you want me to play this game, then make it possible for me to do so. And I guess you did, and things worked out, and it's been great.
It was fun for us to run the ball finally, and it was really fun for me to see Sean Millington do what he does best, and that's run through people and over people. And I mean, I think they forgot how to tackle him. You don't want to hit him up high; he'll knock you over. So it definitely was a lot of fun for the whole offensive line. Just to finally have Damon have the confidence to be able to call those plays and for us to be able to execute them.
When he made that first run, we just said, well, let's see if you can luck out and do another one, and he just kept going. So. And then we also saw that with Shipman in the game, they started playing more nickelback. We decided, well, we'll spread them out and see if Sean can find a crease in there and our linemen can make the blocks. And they did both. And basically we're able to do what we wanted to do in that game, was control the clock.
While Millington is the toast of the town, Corey Philpott just burns. He's been out with a knee injury and will miss the Calgary game.
It's tough, but it's one of those things. I am working hard in practice and stuff to learn assignments that they are putting in new. So when I do come back the following week, I'll have that all down packed. But, it's tough watching from the sidelines and watching the game when you want to be out there and playing too.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. First of all, he's not completely healthy, number one. Number two is that we have to, we're down in Canadian offensive linemen, so we put Chuck Bradley in there, and he's done a real good job when he was in there, so we'd like to keep the same mix if we can.
On the opposite side of the ball, BC's defense remains tough, and now there's some talk that they are interested in bringing some safety. Tom Europe was just cut by the New Orleans Saints, and lineman David Benefield played with the San Francisco 49ers last season.
Yeah, we've had talks with him, Dave, for the last couple of weeks, and good talks. And David's been hanging out there for the last month or two, just seeing if he could get back in the NFL. And as it looks right now, he might have a tough time doing that. So we have a definite interest in them, and we've made an offer to their agent, and now it's just a matter of time before we get back some responses from him.
You're 5-3. You're hitting the halfway point of the season here. Why don't you give us your evaluation of where you think this team is right now?
I think there's still a lot of room for improvement. Guys got to continue to believe in one another and stick together as a team. I think, we can be a really good football team, but I think it's always going to take hard work.
One of the problems for the BC Lions this year has been their inconsistency at home. When they wear these jerseys under the dome, they're just 2-3, and that includes a couple of real flat performances against Toronto and Montreal. Now, in contrast, when they wear these jerseys on the road, they're a perfect 3-0. So that's why you'll see them wearing these against Calgary. Trying to fool the old subconscious. Whatever works. For Friday Night Football, this is Dave Randorf in Vancouver.
All right, thank you, David. Well, one point that could be raised, though. BC wore its darks when they faced Calgary last, and they did win that game, albeit 17-16, and they could easily have lost that. Hey, Corey Philpott aside, who obviously, doesn't look to be getting in the lineup because of the success they had last week. I would think that's part of it, and the knee injury. Looks like maybe there's a lot more happiness in BC than there was, say, even a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Well, certainly on the offensive side. If you recall, before the game last week, the Lions were a team in disarray offensively. They were pointing fingers at each other. They were all clamoring for the football. But it wasn't, as it turned out, it wasn't only Millington that came up with the big game. I mean, they got the ball to Trevathan. Thompson finally got in on the offense. Damon Allen really spread the attack. He diversified the attack and did a good job, kept everyone happy. They're a different team this week.
That's for sure. Damon had, like I said earlier in the show, he got everything started. But this guy, we have to remind everybody that Damon Allen is the best quarterback in the league this year in passing efficiency with a 104.2 rating, which is pretty daggone good. So he keeps playing like this. You never know what can happen with BC.
Well, the other thing is Coach Rita pointed out in that interview is that their offensive line was instrumental in that win last week. In talking to Coach Daly prior to the game last night, Jim said that their offensive line just manhandled their defense. He said they blocked so well as a unit, and that's going to be a key factor, and that's one of the reasons why he does want to make that change on the offensive line. He's going with the non-import slot back, Andrew English, so he can still keep that cohesion up front.
But, Coach, they got their work cut out for them tonight going up against Calgary. Calgary's a different team than what you say Saskatchewan would be. Because of Alondra Johnson, like Glenn Suter pointed out at the beginning of the show, being back and playing in the middle, no one plays from tackle to tackle, like he said, better than he does. And this kid is not afraid to put a hat on you.
Well, I think that's also part of the defense, Les. Saskatchewan does a lot of things where they're stunting those linebackers for gap control and things like that. Whereas Calgary, they use their linemen to protect Alondro, to keep people off of him so he can flow to the ball. And that's the best way to play against the run.
I think the question for BC is which Damon Allen are we going to see tonight? You know, the hot Damon Allen or the cold Damon Allen? You just never know from week to week.
Well, the Calgary Stampeders started the season all cold. They lost their first 3 games, but lately they have been hot at picking the right time to turn things around. Yes, the Stamps now one of the hottest teams in the Canadian Football League.
2nd and 10, Calgary. Set up at the Argonaut, 35. Garcia. Look for a target. He's got Vaughn. Vaughn escapes. Chance to score. He does. What a touchdown. Flutie throws it a long way out there. Picked off again. Here's Hampton. Here's the touchdown. Garcia, quarterback draw, touchdown.
It's amazing what 3 straight wins can do for a football team. The Calgary Stampeders are on a roll, and suddenly 2nd place in the CFL West is within their grasp. The secret is simple. The offense and Jeff Garcia is moving the ball and scoring points as well.
Ever since the Montreal game, I've tried to concentrate on making better decisions, and I think in the past 5 games, my decision-making has been a lot better. I've only thrown 1 interception in the past 5 games, and, you know, I attribute that to Danny Barrett and myself just going over our reads, not trying to force the ball, not trying to do everything myself, letting other guys work around me, and I think that's been the main difference from the beginning of the season.
Defensively, the Stamps have one of the strongest units in the league, but they know Damon Allen and that explosive Lions offense will be a test.
Damon is an outstanding runner. He's a running back who can throw the ball. He does a great job of making people miss. He's very smart. For a guy that age, it's amazing how he can still do it. But my hat's off to him. I got much respect for him, but when we get a chance to hit him, we just got to make sure we hit him and we can wear him down.
It's a big game for a lot of reasons. One is that we're starting to get some momentum, and 2, we're playing now teams that are ahead of us, and I think one way to catch up to them is to beat them.
I think defensively we're going to shut them down. As long as we don't give up any big plays to Jackson or Shipman or Damon, we got to kill the big play. We kill the big plays, I can't see them moving the ball on us at all.
Well, special teams really hurt the Calgary Stampeders when they lost to BC at BC Place in week 2. It was 17-16. But really, that was a little hard luck story for Calgary to start off this season, Les. That happened a few times to them.
Well, this is a team that had some early bad luck, and they seem to have gotten over that adversity. The first 2 games, they lost a total of 2 points. In the first 4 games, they lost in a total of 10 points. And then, just like Montreal last year, they came out and was 0-3 and decided to come back and be 15-5. Yeah. This team just goes to show you that.
Same way.
That's right. When they're down, they're never out.
But I think the difference is Garcia. At the beginning of the season, he just didn't seem like he was playing with much confidence. As you heard from the interview just now, he sounded different. He was so much more confident. I think it's really shown in his play on the field.
Well, I think it's a combination of things from an offensive standpoint. I think both Tony Marciano and Danny Barrett are kind of getting acclimated now to being coaches and leading their offense. Jeff, even in our post-game interview with him after that last time we interviewed him after their game, he indicated that he didn't feel as comfortable as he does now. He's running the ball now with more authority when he has to, which keeps the sticks moving. And the other thing is that they are running the ball as a team in the last 3 games. So their offense has really picked it up.
And speaking of that offense, Marty, Joseph Rogers dealt to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, not in the game tonight, but dealt to Winnipeg for future considerations. You were talking last night how you hear it's going to be Angelo Snipes. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, Wally Buono confirmed last night that there are a number of components involved in this deal, but there is a possibility that Angelo Snipes could wind up as a defensive end with Calgary. Now, he led the league last season in quarterback sacks. If I'm Marvin Pope tonight, I'm feeling a little bit of pressure because Marvin Pope has not had a great season from the defensive end position. He's only had the 2 sacks. So if he's hearing the rumors about Snipes, and I'm sure he has by now, I'd be a little nervous.
Well, I guess he would be the odd man out since Dwayne Patterson is second in the league. Well, he's not even tied. He's second in the league with 7 sacks, yeah. So he would be the odd man out. But it's hard to tell where they would put Angelo in right now. As Coach had mentioned before, he'd have to be in some good shape, sitting out halfway through the season, and then coming in and being that strong.
I guess it's one of those good problems that you always used to bore us with. It's a good problem.
Yeah, but I think Coach Bono, Wally's not going to do anything until he sees him physically in front of him, and then he'll make a decision when and if he thinks he's ready to play, because if they're playing well and winning games, he's not going to be making changes just to change.
But, Coach, he's making that decision with a smile as big as they all get out, because Angelo Snipes is one heck of a ball player, and to have him on your team is just a bonus.
And that mix him with Johnson and McClanahan. Whew.
Yeah, that would improve the defense for sure, and Wally was smiling about the way he improved his offense last week with number 18, one of the all-time leaders in CFL history, Alan Pitts. 5 catches over 100 yards against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Yeah, welcome back right away for Pitts. Looking to get it done for the red and white tonight. BC Place will continue after this.
Friday night football. Boys are being bad. Playing CFL football. Game is up for grabs. It's Friday night football tonight.
Welcome back to Friday Night Football pregame show. If ever the Hamilton Tiger Cats had a chance to knock off the Edmonton Eskimos, last night was the night. Think of who's not playing for Edmonton. Quarterback Danny McManus, couple of receivers, Eddie Brown and Darren Flutie, Benny Goods on the defensive front. Yes, Hamilton had a shot, and the final score indicated that they had a shot in this one. After a couple of Sean Fleming field goals, Anthony Calvillo puts the Ticats in front here, finding Prince Wimbley. Takes it in 69 yards for the touchdown. Hamilton 7 with the convert, and Edmonton 6. Second quarter, they add to it here. AC hits Earl Winfield. 10 yards out, 14-6 for the Tabbies, but late in the half, the Eskimos come back. Back up Jimmy Kemp, handing off to Tony Burse, one of a couple of touchdowns for him. They missed the 2-point convert try, 14-12. Then after a safety ties it anyway, it is Burse again, just breaking the plane. 21-14 Edmonton at the half. Late in the game, Eskies up 28-24 under a minute to play. Look at this, Calvillo hooking up with Earl deep into Edmonton territory. Now they get it down, very close, 6 seconds left. It's picked off by Glenn Rogers Jr. Hamilton was so close, and yet still so far, Edmonton moving on to a record of 7-2, and the Tiger Cats falling to 1-8, but certainly good, I'm sure, at least to see them in a close ball game for a change. Henry Gizmo Williams, by the way, one of the stories in this game and this return, the Giz becomes the CFL's all-purpose yardage record holder, passing George Reed, and afterwards Giz said he just didn't know how to react to it all. Gizmo Williams, the total puts him past George Reed, 20,067 yards. And George Reed held that record, obviously, for a long time. But Henry Gizmo Williams, one of the premier players of all time. And afterwards, yeah, he's looking forward to a Hall of Fame time, but he didn't know how to react after this.
Henry, just your comments about breaking the record, George Reed's record.
Well, I just want to thank all the guys that I was playing with tonight. You know, these guys made my career and made me, you know, and everybody gonna look at me in the record book or whatever, but you got to think of the other 11 guys that made it happen. I think it's a great accomplishment, and it's just something I'm just proud of, but I still want to thank the guys that I've been playing with for so long.
And there you see it, the all-purpose yardage. George Reed now in second place. Giz, truly a Hall of Famer. No doubt he is going. Pinball Clements still active. Leo Lewis, Dick Shadow. Some big names up there, but none bigger than Giz right now. For the Edmonton Eskimos, he is Mr. Eskimo in every way and has been for a long time, Les.
Oh, yeah, when you talk about Edmonton Eskimos, I bet you every fan out there can mention Henry Gizmo Williams. Now, this is the only guy that I know that every time that they punt the ball believes that he can take it back for 6. And most of the time he does.
And you know what's even more impressive about his punt returning ability is that he's had more touchdowns called back as a punt returner than the next closest guy to him in the statistics.
And that's Earl Winfield.
And I know one that you wish was called back in the '87 Grey Cup, right?
And you know, another thing is when you look at that record.
Notice he didn't answer that.
When you look at that record that he broke, you know, George Reed was a pure running back. He didn't do a lot of other things. That's a lot of yardage for a running back over the years, too. So that's quite a record that Gizmo broke.
I think Gizmo Williams epitomizes what the CFL is all about. You know, a diminutive player who takes advantage of the extra space on the field, and he's been something. He's a surefire Hall of Famer.
I really liked what he said. I liked what he said in that interview. He credited all his teammates, and when you're a return guy, you need those guys blocking for you to be as good as he is, and then get him in the open, and with his speed, he excites people.
Now, I have to ask Marty, did you know anything about them stopping the game out there and maybe giving him any kind of plaque or the ball? Or
no, actually, I didn't, but I sure hope they did. I don't know.
Well, you know, because that's a league record.
I sure hope they did.
And what was going on in Toronto was a team record.
Yeah.
So you would think
You're referring to Pinball Clemens' reception record.
But
you make a good point.
I think that for a league record, you stop and you give him all the accolades that he deserves.
You're right, and the Giz is quite the wardrobe counselor, too, by the way. He told me to get rid of my red jacket. I hope the burgundy jacket's okay with you, Giz. I got rid of the red jacket, by the way.
You know, it would have been a nice thing to have George Reed there, because they've done that in the past.
Exactly.
I remember they had Terry Greer there when Alan Pitts broke his record, so, you know, that could have been a good situation.
Maybe they did it. I don't know. Do you?
Good PR.
Henry Gizmo Williams is such an influence that when he talks, Marty York listens. And that's another indication of the power of the Giz.
There's a lot more than I could say about you. What'd you just say, anyway?
Well, I'll tell you this. A former teammate of Gizmo's, Tracy Ham, trying to lead the Alouettes back in Winnipeg. Yeah, falling behind. The Bombers have been playing this one very well, and Tracy Ham does indeed get something back from Montreal here. 12 yards out. Doing one of the things he does so well, takes it in, touchdown for the Montreal Alouettes. But the Winnipeg Blue Bombers saw the earlier touchdown by Milt Stegall, leading at 18-11. Now in the third quarter, and yeah, Winnipeg at 1-7, still trying to salvage something here. And the big news, Marty, coming up for Winnipeg, he's not in this game, but big name they had.
Grant Carter signs today. This guy was an all-star last year for Montreal, defensive end, great quarterback rusher. And he will be joining Winnipeg, I guess, as early as tomorrow at practice.
What gets me is the guaranteed contract that they offered him. You know, most players, you know, don't ever hear the word or see that stamp, the big G on there, except for maybe Doug Flutie. And this guy got a guaranteed contract with Winnipeg.
And, you know, the other interesting thing is that with he and Payton last year in Montreal, they formed quite a tandem there. But I think what's happened is Alfred Payton came in late last year. He's really a rush in. Grant Carter's a rush end as well, and I think he feels he'll have a better chance to play that spot with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and it'll make a difference. With he and Shante Peoples coming off the edge, Winnipeg's improved their defense.
And offensively, they've improved as well because they'll have Joseph Rogers in at slot back next week, and he was the Eastern Division Rookie of the Year last year. So they have two quality players they can talk about now.
Well, we can let people know that tonight's game, the reason why Winnipeg is winning this game is basically because they're able to run the ball on Montreal. And that is very bad for Montreal because of Paul Randolph being out of the middle. He usually stops those runs.
Yeah, but I think Montreal's going to come back in this game, by the way.
You picked them, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Well, there you go in the third quarter, but they're down by a touchdown. Couple of big additions for Winnipeg this week. Not only Grant Carter today, but also a couple of days ago, getting slot back Joseph Rogers, who no longer fit into Calgary's plans once they got Alan Pitts back. The Stampeders in BC, we're getting closer to the opening kickoff there. The Stampeders and the BC Lions, and Marvin Coleman always seems to have a big one against BC. Something about facing that team. We'll have more Friday Night Football here on TSN right after this.
Cordell Stewart, man, I've been a big fan of yours ever since the Hail Mary pass against Michigan.
Thanks, Pinball. I hear you've been doing some great stuff in the CFL.
even though y'all have those racing stripe footballs.
Hey, Slash, if we had 4 downs to make 10 yards, we'd never give the ball up.
So I'll tell you what, if we had 20 yards in the end zone, we'll score 50 points again.
Cordell, check this out.
But we still have Sunday Night Football on TSN.
And Slash, we've got Friday Night Football on TSN.
Our 10th season on the road, and we're still motoring. Motoring 97 Sundays only on TSN.
I want y'all to put your hands together and to bring on a brother that's bound to lay more dips in your hips, more glide in your stride.
He's back. Yo, I'm talking about my main man, Alan Pitts. You know Alan Pitts, man. 81 career touchdowns, over 10,000 yards receiving. Yeah, baby, that Alan Pitts. You can't cover him. You may think you all over him, but when he fakes left, you go right. When he fakes right, you bite left. No, my brothers, he's got more moves than a chess game. And you can be sure he'll be yelling, checkmate, all night against the BC secondary. The return of Alan Pitts sounds like a movie. Get the popcorn, BC. Let's get this party started right.
From BC Place in Vancouver, it's the Calgary Stampeders, the BC Lions on Friday Night Football. And yes, we are live and interactive here at TSN. If you like, email us with your questions and comments, cfl@tsn.ca. Welcome to Friday Night Football. I'm Rod Smith. The BC Lions with a record of 5-3, and the Calgary Stampeders a few weeks ago looked to be out of it for a while, but have surged back with 3 straight wins to go to 4-4. Looking forward to this one tonight. So too, the coach, Bob Obilovich. Les Brown, who from now on is voicing all of our openings. He did such a splendid job, and Marty York of the Globe and Mail as
Les
well.
or Bob?
Yeah, you know, I always get the two mixed up that way.
It's hard to tell.
It is. Anyway, Alan Pitts, not hard to tell that he is going to make a big difference for the Calgary Stampeders offense. He certainly did last week against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. With more, let's head out to BC Place now and join Gord Miller, Glenn Suter, and Dave Archer, guys.
Rod, with 3 straight wins, the Calgary Stampeders have stormed back into the middle of the picture in the Western Division. But more importantly than that, the return of Alan Pitts has really changed the look and dimension of this offense, Dave.
Alan Pitts comes back, and his quarterback, Jeff Garcia, is extremely excited. One of the plays he likes to feature is the corner route, the post corner route. He's going to set his DB up, lean to the post, and go to the corner.
And this is what it looks like when he does it.
He does a great job. Watch him lean on the defensive back, and Garcia's found him many a time in the end zone wide open.
Now, Pitts has 81 career touchdowns, Glenn Suter. How do you stop him from getting there?
Well, I think a guy like that demands the double team, Gordon. Robert Holland or Don Wilson from the halfback are going to step up and jam Pitts at the line, and then they're going to expect help over the top from free safety Greg Frères. Now, the downside of that is when you do that and double team a receiver, you're leaving yourself vulnerable somewhere else on the field, and that's right in the middle. If Frères leaves that middle, look for Vince Danielson to maybe have a big night.
Takes 2 guys to stop Alan Pitts. It takes an entire team to stop Damon Allen. The season reaches the midway point after this week, and you can make a pretty good case for Damon Allen as the first half Canadian Football League MVP. When you look at the numbers he's putting up, averaging 9 yards an attempt, Dave.
He would be my selection as the MVP, and I think all of us are unanimous on that. If you break that down, pretty much when he touches the football, 8 yards of offense are going to result.
And also, Sean Millington had the 212 yards last week, Glenn, but Damon Allen a big part of that.
He certainly is. I mean, when Damon Allen is throwing the ball and running with the success that he's had so far this season, it really puts defensive backs and linebackers in a bind, because when he starts running around with the football, you freeze. You don't know whether to come up and stop him on the run or stay back and try and find a receiver downfield. So it really puts you in a bind defensively.
And BC's win over Calgary earlier this year ended a 12-game losing streak for BC against the Stamps. Rod?
Thank you, Gord. It was 17-16, BC's win over Calgary back in week 2, and it was at BC Place. Now, a key note for that, special teams, Obi, really hurt Calgary. Mark McLaughlin struggled out of the gate, missed some key field goals. The Stamps easily could have won that game.
Well, if you recall, he had some personal problems at that time, and tonight I think that you're going to see some big plays, or the team that eliminates the big plays on special teams. We've got some of the best returners in the game right now. You got Terry Vaughn and Marvin Coleman, who might be the best tandem in the league at returning kicks, and then you've got Al Shipman for the BC Lions. This could be the difference in the ball game.
Les, I know you love talking about those big one-on-one matchups. You got a guy like Alan Pitts in there. What's the setup now? Robert Holland?
Well, you know, if BC comes out with that strong game like they had last week against Saskatchewan, then that'll force the Stamps to go to their ace, which is Alan Pitts. Now, a guy covering Alan Pitts is Robert Holland, a guy who has seen him a lot of times because he played in Edmonton for so many years. Now, that will be a serious matchup in this game to keep your eye on.
Yeah, well, Pitts had the big day against Winnipeg, his first game back, so he certainly showed he is ready to play some CFL football. Marty York is ready to give us his CFL pick, and I think this is a recording, trying to get back to the 500 mark. Take it away, Marty.
Okay, I got a good one today. Las Vegas is favoring the BC Lions tonight by 1.5 points, and I'm going with the Stampeders.
You know,
I got to take the Stamps tonight because they've had great success in Vancouver in recent years, and they've won their past 3 games this season. They're on the rise, remember, because quarterback Jeff Garcia has been terrific lately, passing efficiently and scrambling intelligently. His confidence is back, and so is his ace receiver, Alan Pitts. And so, too, is the running back, Kelvin Anderson, who's had 2 good games in a row. He's playing like he did last year when he was the Rookie of the Year. But the big difference, I think, in this game are the defenses. Calgary has been a lot more consistent on defense than BC. So, you got to go with the Stampeders plus the 1.5 points tonight. The Dogs win.
And there you go.
I'm pulling for you, Marty.
Well, BC, if this means anything, and you didn't mention it, the jerseys they're wearing, it's their road uniforms because they're 3-0 on the road. So BC fans might be wondering, who's that team in white? Looks like our guys taking on the other guys, Calgary, coming up next.
Checked it out.
Hey there. Would you like to make a long-distance call?
What? Do you know where you are? Long distance? I like a long distance. No, what? Yeah? Yeah? Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah? Well, no. I mean, yeah? No.
There's always something to say long distance. What are you waiting for?
Yeah? Yeah?
The Dodge Ram. It's got a lot of room on the inside and a grill that gives you a whole lot of room on the outside.
Taking it anyway. Welcome back to the stadium at BC Place, where tonight the Calgary Stampeders and BC Lions meet in week number 9 of the season. Wally Buono of the Calgary Stampeders is 16-3-1 all time against the BC Lions. And on the other side, he sees Adam Rita. These 2 head coaches met each other in the 1991 Grey Cup, a game won by Adam Rita's Toronto Argonauts. The BC Lions will receive the kickoff from Mark McLaughlin. As Rod Smith mentioned a moment ago, BC wearing its road whites because the Lions are undefeated in them, but it may backfire. Calgary 3-0 in red this year. Mark McLaughlin kicks it off to Al Shipman at the 16-yard line. And Shipman collared as he fights his way out to the 35, and that's 19-yard return. Damon Allen is the league's #1 rated passer, 66.1 completion percentage, 11 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Although he says it's only 2. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Alfred Jackson, Larry Thompson outside, Andrew English, Mike Trevathan inside. Al Shipman replaces Corey Philpott in the backfield, and this is the offensive line that opened the holes for Sean Millington to rush for 212 yards a week ago. On first down from the 34, Allen sets up the receiver screen for Alfred Jackson. Jackson's got a seam and gets up to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 11 yards and a first down for the Lions. This Calgary defense bolstered by the return of Alondra Johnson in the middle, a CFL All-Star in 1995. Steve Anderson, number 92, is having a big year. So is Dwayne Patterson, 7 sacks, second in the league. And in the defensive backfield, Al Jordan starts at left halfback. An All-Star a year ago when he led the league with 8 interceptions. He plays defensive halfback tonight instead of corner. On first down, back to Sean Millington, and as we talked about off the top of the show, not quite as easy going for him as he runs right into the middle of that line, Ernie Brown.
Well, immediately we talked about Alondra Johnson being a factor against the run, and Glenn Harry steps up and makes a play right away.
Well, Sean Millington had so much success last week. We talked about it in the opening, breaking the Lions record, but Alondra Johnson is going to have a good night against him because he slow plays the run. Sean Millington had success last week because Saskatchewan overran it.
Pickup on the play was a couple. It's 2nd and 8. Allen, his first throw is complete to Mike Trevathan. Kent Leonard cuts his feet out from under him, but not before Trevathan gets down to the Calgary 54-yard line for a pickup of 9. Last week, 7 catches, 123 yards for Trevathan, his best game of the year.
They won't be able to play this defense against Damon Allen all night because this is Trevathan pitch and catch. All he does is run up, run a curl route against the man coverage, turn, catches the football for the first down.
Big Mike Withacombe, the center for the BC Lions, with Damon Allen in behind him. Lions' first possession. Allen, quick drop, he wants to run, and here he goes. Ernie Brown got a hand on him, then Anthony McClanahan and Alondra Johnson finish him off for a pickup of 5 yards.
Looked like they had a screen set up that time, Gord, to the outside, and Damon Allen actually read the linebackers. He saw the flow of the linebackers to go with the lineman and Shipman, and he just steps up in the hole where they vacated.
He does so many things well when he doesn't tell the rest of his teammates. But you see Alondra Johnson, 51, fighting off the block and staying right in the middle. He said, last time I played Damon Allen, I took my eyes off him sometime. Won't happen tonight.
2nd and 5, quick throw, Shipman, and Shipman should have a first down as he gets down to the 41-yard line. Al Shipman indicates first down BC, a gain of 7, and an impressive opening drive for the Lions.
Well, we talked to Damon Allen before the game, actually yesterday, and Damon talked about his first drive, and I said, what do you want to get out of your first drive, Damon? He said, I would like to put together 3 first downs. If I get 3 first downs, we don't score, I still get to see everything they want to do to me defensively for the whole night.
And you can see what Al Shipman does for this team. One thing he doesn't do is rush the ball much. In fact, his per carry average, 0.7 yards. Now Allen rolling out, and a great throw by Allen to Andrew English. He had Anthony McClanahan in no man's land, and Marvin Coleman makes the stop.
Well, Damon Allen knows he's going to get a lot of zone defense from the Calgary Stampeders. Wally Guano does not like to blitz and play man, and when he does, you can see Andrew English sit down. The corner, Marvin Coleman, is to the outside, held there by Larry Thompson, so that gives Andrew English just that little bit of space. Damon Allen found it.
And that's a rookie wide receiver there, and he made a great adjustment because they wanted to shovel past the Shipman, saw zone, English sat down for him to the hole.
First down for the Lions. Allen, another quick throw for Alfred Jackson, passes over his head and incomplete. We apologize for any audio difficulties we may be experiencing. We're hard at work on it. We're in the first quarter here at the stadium at BC Place. Damon Allen has just thrown his first incompletion of the football game. It'll bring up 2nd down for the BC Lions. This is BC's first possession. They're already down to the Calgary 31-yard line.
Well, Damon Allen comes in this game as a career 52% passer. This season, completing 66% of his balls.
Only Doug Flutie's been better, and only by a 1/10 of a percentage point. Allen, lots of time. All day, in fact. Still can't find anyone. Now he unloads, and he has Shipman for a first down, all the way down to the 15-yard line. Damon Allen had a week to to throw that ball. It's a gain of 16.
Well, Al Shipman is going to run what looks like a fade route. He sees the jam by Hampton. Now he sees his quarterback in trouble. Just comes back and helps him out. That's just good receiver play.
And we talked about it in the opening. Defensive backs, when Damon Allen breaks contain, freeze. And Hampton froze to the inside trying to find a receiver, and that allowed Shipman to find the opening behind him.
Al Shipman, a big part of this opening drive, which began at the Lions' 34-yard line. First down from the 15. Allen, quick drop, quick throw, and over the head of Alfred Jackson. He was well covered by William Hampton on the corner. William Hampton's been a story for this Calgary team, moving onto the corner when Al Jordan was hurt. And Hampton, in his first year a free agent, has really been a nice addition for Calgary.
He really has. I think Hampton is the mirror image of Marvin Coleman on the other side of the field. You can tell that he's really drawn a lot of experience from Marvin.
He certainly is. I asked Wally Buono what would happen now if everybody's healthy, because Eddie Davis is injured right now, and he says, I have a dilemma on my hands because I got a secondary that's playing pretty darn good.
Wally says pass.
That's a good dilemma to have.
Allen from the shotgun on second down. Here comes the rush. Allen gets away, throws it down to the goal line, and Alfred Jackson makes the catch. Sitting down, he makes the grab.
You talk about thrusting a receiver. Alfred Jackson's going to fall down. Damon Allen realizes if he sticks the ball on him, Jackson will make the catch for him, and he does.
He certainly does. Number one thing for Steve Anderson, never leave your feet on Damon Allen. That happens first, and then look at Jackson goes down and catch that one off his knees.
You talk about a guy sitting down in his own defense, Dave. That was pretty much a textbook example there.
That was like Dorf on receiving right there.
And it gives the Lions first and goal from the 1 after a 14-yard pickup. What an opening drive by the BC Lions. Picking up right where they left off last week in Saskatchewan. Now the full backfield for BC. Allen, straight ahead, touchdown. Damon Allen with his 7th rushing touchdown of the year. Some teams script their opening drives. You couldn't script it any better than that.
You really couldn't. He took control of the offense. He calls his own plays. Coach Adam Rita has 4 or 5 plays, 10 plays maybe that he would like to get to. But Damon Allen, this was his drive, and he made a lot of plays with his athletic ability.
Here's how the drive is capped off, but it really was a perfect Damon Allen drive for a lot of reasons. He ran, he stretched the pocket, he got mixed up his pass patterns and who he was throwing and distributing the football to. It was a well-executed drive from start to finish because of number 9.
Pupaseglia for the point after. Kickers now 174 for 174 in the point after. You can put it on the board. The BC Lions with a 7-0 lead on Calgary. All right.
Friday Night Football on TSN is brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business.
Welcome back to the stadium at BC Place. A good omen for the Lions. They're 4-1 this year when Damon Allen scores a touchdown, and he's got one already in this game.
A super drive by Damon Allen. He got everybody involved. They ran the football a little bit, but it was all based on what he does, his ability to make people miss and move. Ran for a 7th TD of the season.
Can you tell by the look in his face how excited he is about it?
He's freaking out down there. That's his touchdown dance right there. That's a good look at it right there. 11 plays, 76 yards, 6.5 minutes. And the Lions, on the 3rd best defense in the Canadian Football League, run up 7 first downs on that march. Now Brett Anderson will kick it off for the Lions, and the Calgary offense, which has sat here for a good 20 minutes since the opening kickoff, will finally get to work. Anderson, the rookie from Simon Fraser, hangs it up short. Marvin Coleman from the 25-yard line. Coleman picking his way out across the 30, runs into trouble and gets dropped by Maurice Kelly up at the 33-yard line. A 50-yard kickoff, a 14-yard return. Jeff Garcia at the controls for the Calgary Stampeders in his 4th year out of San Jose State. He's 6th in the league in rushing, and he's also got 15 touchdown passes on the year. Keep an eye on Alan Pitts, number 18, the new man in there. Maybe open up some room for Vince Danielson as he did for Dave Sapunjas before him. And a veteran offensive line features all-stars like Fred Childress and Rocco Romano, a 4-time All-Canadian. On first down, Garcia on play action. He's under pressure. He's throwing it to Pitts. He's wide open. Al Pitts on Don Wilson. Wilson and Pitts, just like you guys drew at the opening, down to the BC 41-yard line, post corner.
It's the exact route we talked about, Glenn, and he gets isolated on Don Wilson, and we talked to him before the game. This was a matchup they really liked.
Well, anytime in get a man-to-man situation, the BC Lions, you're going to look for number 18. And I watched them in warm-up and then the day before practice yesterday, and they did a couple of hurry-ups. Alan Pitts caught 8 passes in a row from Jeff Garcia. You think he's happy to have number 18 back in the lineup?
Last week, he racked up his 48th 100-yard receiving game. That is the all-time best. The game was 35 yards. Kelvin Anderson with his first carry tripped up quickly. Maurice Kelly got there, and a flag comes down late. The game for Kelvin Anderson might have been won, but we have our first penalty flag of the game. The referee tonight is Bud Steen. And it's an illegal block against Calgary.
Illegal block. Calgary number 18.
Al Pitts makes an impression early. He gets caught for the illegal block.
Well, and you know who forces this is Maurice Kelly. Attacks the run and makes Alan Pitts block him in the back.
Yeah, it really was the quickness of Maurice Kelly to come up on containment on that last play, and Alan Pitts really had no choice but to hit him in the back.
Now 1st and 20. Calgary set up the BC 51-yard line. Garcia from the shotgun, facing a 4-man rush. Garcia, the wide field out, has it there to Travis Moore. Beat the first man, and Moore gets back to the original line of scrimmage, a pickup of 11 yards as he fights his way down to the 40-yard line. This BC Lion defense is 3rd to 5th in 15 of 25 categories. That means pretty much their average. B.J. Gallus replaces the injured David Mava, once again an outside linebacker. And in the defensive backfield, Damian Lyons has been outstanding for the BC Lions. Don Wilson, a 4-time CFL All-Star, along with Robert Holland, who was selected to the League All-Star team in '94. 2nd and 9. Garcia once again in the shotgun. Lots of time. Dwayne Ford has the catch. And Tyrone Chapman hangs on for dear life to stop big Dwayne Ford, who makes his 6th catch of the year, but comes up a couple of yards short of a Calgary first down.
Well, that had to be shocking to Dwayne Ford. He's only touched the ball 7 times all season, so obviously he was the only guy open. They dropped 9 people into coverage there that time, Glenn, and Dwayne Ford was the only outlet.
And one of the reasons Garcia had to dump it to Dwayne Ford was because Alan Pitts was on that side of the football field and pushed the defensive backs for BC deep. So Ford opened up underneath.
Now Mark McLaughlin comes on to try a 41-yard field goal. Mark McLaughlin has made 11 straight, and in his last 4 games has made 16 of his last 17 attempts. Early movement. No flag. McLaughlin puts it up, and it is good. Both teams score on their opening possessions. The Calgary Stampeders get 3 and trail the BC Lions by 4. Wally Buono, none too pleased during that last break. Here's why. Watch the left side for BC. Joe Fleming right there jumped. It was 3rd and 2. That would have been a Calgary first down. The question is, would Buono have taken the 3 points off the board and put his offense back on the field?
I don't think he would. He kind of tends to stay with the percentages, but I would have taken him off. That's me. I'm Mr. Vegas.
You know what? And I'm with you. I would have taken them off as well, put my offense back on, but coaches hate to do that. They will never take points off the board.
Al Shipman returns the kickoff from the 12-yard line, trying to get around the corner. Shipman is tripped out as he gets up to the 30-yard line. J.P. Esquerdo makes the stop. These teams met in week 2 of the season, won by BC by a count of 17-16. Mark McLaughlin missed a field goal in the final play of the game that would have won it. That ended a 12-game winning streak by Calgary against BC, but the Stampeders are 9-1-1 against the Lions in the 1990s.
And they were in control of that game, 16-3. Gordon let it slip away late.
That 9-1-1 record here at BC Place. 1st and 10 now. The Lions from their 29-yard line. To the ground. Sean Millington tries the right side, and Millington backs his way out to the 34-yard line. a pickup of 4 yards. Well, Sean Millington suddenly has a much better average, has much better totals. Here's a guy who had 49 yards rushing, and then last week puts up 212.
Think about some of the names on that list. Keevan Jenkins. You know who else played in BC? Willie Fleming. You know, you got Larry Key, Corey Philpott. Never got that far. Sean Millington, 212 yards last week. That's quite an accomplishment.
And not many rushing records are broken anymore in the Canadian Football League. It's kind of like breaking the record for railway trains. Not as popular as it used to be. Second down, Allen for Alfred Jackson, and Kent Leonard saw that coming and stuffs it immediately. BC will be forced to punt.
Well, Kent Leonard is having a kind of year like we've been talking about with Terrell Omer in Saskatchewan. This guy's been making all the plays, has 9 knockdowns on defense against the pass, and here he comes up, makes a great play against the screen.
Wow, it's a great read, because in order for him to be that far into the backfield as a defensive halfback, you have to take a chance that you are right in your read. You've watched game film, you've seen the play on film. Take it and go. Kent Leonard took it and was in the backfield. Alfred Jackson had no chance.
Now Lou Pasaglia back to punt. After 2,888 right-footed punts last week, Pasaglia booted 1 left-footed. This with the right once again. Marvin Coleman takes off on the return, and Coleman dives out across the 45 to the 46. A 48-yard punt by Pasaglia. A 15-yard return by Coleman. 7-3, the Lions lead. Entering this season, Alan Pitts, 47 100-yard games, 648 catches, 81 touchdowns. And Glenn Studer, you made the point about Pitts that now Calgary has a guy who demands double coverage.
Well, when I talked to Wally Guano about him after he was fighting off the smile, he explained to me that that's exactly what will happen now. Vince Danielson will open up more because people have to double cover Alan Pitts.
On first down, they set up the receiver screen as well, and they do it to Terry Vaughn, who runs a long way to get nothing. Maybe a yard. He ran straight across the line of scrimmage. That's where the big people live. Johnny Scott and Joe Fleming.
The big people do live in there, Gordon. That's the wrong place to go. This play is designed to be able to get inside the halfback with the block of the guard and be able to turn it north and south. He never finds that crease.
Yeah, Jay McNeil is the guard you're talking about, going out there and throwing the block on B.J. Gallis, but you're right, Vaughn goes way too far in there, and there's an awful lot of white jerseys there ready to grab him.
2nd and 9. Here comes the rush. Garcia steps up, has a man wide open, and it's once again Terry Vaughn. He's got a first down into BC territory at the 48-yard line. So Terry Vaughn ran north and south that time for a gain of 16.
Well, they're playing man coverage in the secondary. They're going to come after a delayed blitz at Garcia. And you see Alan Pitts right there draw double coverage. That's what freed Terry Vaughn up. Didn't see it until we actually got to see the replay, but Pitts took 2 people out of the play.
That's right. B.J. Gallis turns and gets underneath help on Alan Pitts, and Terry Vaughn comes and goes right where he was standing.
Here comes the blitz again on first down. Garcia to Pitts, and he dropped it. Well, you know what? You got to think the guy's been off for 3/4 of a year. That's Jeff Garcia's first incompletion, but Pitts is bound to have a couple of those.
Yeah, I talked to him about being out for that long, and he said, you know, I'm just getting my game legs back. And he says not only that, but the big thing is taking those hits from defensive backs. That takes a while to get used to again.
Alan Pitts will have an extended conversation with Glenn Studer coming up at halftime. And an interesting one it was about a turbulent offseason and his return to the Canadian Football League. 2nd down. Garcia loads for Dwayne Ford again. Ford has the catch down to the 40, a pickup of 8. It'll leave him 2 yards short of a first down. Dwayne Ford had just 5 catches coming into the game. He's already got 2 in the first quarter.
Well, you really have to credit Dwayne Ford because you know he doesn't touch the football very much. But here's a guy that obviously works on it in practice, and if the ball's thrown his way, he makes the play. It's a tough catch for a guy that doesn't see the ball very much.
And Tyrone Chapman, who's wearing number 36 now, has to cover Dwayne Ford from the middle and had 3 guys to run around to get there. It was too far.
This first quarter, very typical of the Calgary Stampeders, who have the 2nd most first downs. They've run the most plays offensively, but they also have the most field goals. They've stalled more than any team in the league.
I think that'll change now that Alan Pitts is part of the ball club. I think you'll see him punching more in touchdowns in.
McLaughlin now will try this one from 47 yards out. The CFL leader with 18 field goals. McLaughlin puts it up and misses it to the right. The streak ends at 12 straight. Al Shipman will give up the single point. Calgary climbing up closer, but slowly now, trailing by a count of 7-4. You made the point about Pitts, David. It's a good one. Over the last 3 years, Alan Pitts, despite injuries, has averaged 14 touchdowns a year. You add that to this Calgary offense, and you may see more productivity in the so-called red zone or scoring zone.
It really does. This is a team that really works hard in the scoring area. They spend a lot of time in practice. I think twice as much as most teams do. And I think that's all stems from how well they do it. If you do something really well, you tend to have fun with it and do it a little bit more.
And I can tell you from experience, when the Calgary Stampeders and Alan Pitts in the lineup got into the red zone, and I've been there many, many times, they went to number 18. That was the go-to guy without a doubt.
Lions take over just inside their 40-yard line. Damon Allen flips it out there for Larry Thompson. His first catch of the game, working on Marvin Coleman. Here goes Larry Thompson. Inside Calgary territory. A great move by Thompson. Down to the 44-yard line. A pickup of 20 yards.
And here's a surprise, Glenn. Mike Trevathan makes a big block to spring him.
You know, I don't know if Mike Trevathan would rather catch the ball or make blocks. I think he'd rather make blocks. Pretty nice move by Thompson right here to go off the block of Trevathan, who decides to just pass up a little bit and not take the clip, but gets enough in the way of Marvin Coleman to spring Larry Thompson down the sideline. But boy, number 77 loves to throw the hit around.
They mark him out just inside the 50, so it's a gain of 16 yards. Jackson and William Hampton hanging on for dear life as Alfred Jackson grinds his way down to the 40, a pickup of 9. He'll be a yard short of another first down.
And Damon, all Damon's doing is taking the throws that they're giving him. He threw the ball underneath to Larry Thompson the play previous. This time he just throws the wide side hitch route. He misconnected the first drive to Jackson. This time he connects. Good solid tackle out there by William Hampton.
Damon Allen, by the way, the league statistics say he has 3 interceptions, but there was one of them that was a catch and then a fumble. The Lions have sent that into the league to the statisticians. They'd like that changed. According to the Lions statistics, he has 2 interceptions. The league says he has 3. Whatever it is, it's the fewest of any regular starting quarterback. Allen wants to go over the top. A little fake on short yardage for Alfred Jackson. Off his bucket. That hit him right in the mind.
It did, and it's a great play by Damon Allen. They line up in a short yardage formation. Damon fakes the dive by the quarterback to pick up the first down and then goes deep to his big play guy, Alfred Jackson.
And David, he couldn't have thrown this ball any better. Up and to the outside, Alfred Jackson had a half the step on Hampton, but that ball was right on the money to Alfred Jackson. He has to come up with that one. It hits him right in the face mask. Now, William Hampton had a little bit to do with it, putting his left hand in there.
Now it's 3rd and inches, and Allen takes it straight ahead for a BC Lion first down. That's a play that some coaches really like. Ron Lancaster, for one, to say on 2nd and inches, take the shot.
Why not? You're almost guaranteed a first down if you have a quarterback that do the things that Damon Allen does. And if you've got a guy that can go up over the top one-on-one, William Hampton, a smallish type corner at 5'10", a big receiver and a 6-foot-tall Alfred Jackson, good matchup.
Lion drive continues down to the Calgary 39-yard line. Under 20 seconds to go in this opening period. BC with 9 first downs already to the Stampeders 2. Allen from the shotgun on first down. Shovel pass for Sean Millington. Oh, man. Big time collision down there as he ran smack into Anthony McClanahan.
Well, for any kids watching this game, this is how you play from the middle line or from the linebacker position, how you take on the running back. Now, Sean Millington is a load. Well, watch how McClanahan gets low, uses his hips to drive up through Millington and pull him down. That's a perfect tackle.
And by the way, any of you kids at home looking on, that's what happens when you fall asleep and your friend has finger paints. McClanahan said about Sean Millington, we're going to kick the crap out of him. Oh, you think that went on the BC Lion bulletin board? I would say it did. Calgary shows blitz on 2nd down. Allen sets it up. That was tipped by Al Jordan. The pass was intended for Andrew English. And that is the final play of an entertaining opening quarter. BC and Calgary battling for 2nd place in the Western Division. The Lions with the lead so far by a count of 7-4. The 2nd quarter is still coming right now. Back to Friday Night Football control.
Friday
Friday Night Football, live at the quarter, is brought to you by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
And welcome to Friday Night Football Control at the quarter. Rod Smith along with Obi, Les, and Marty. BC with the lead, and it could have been more had Alfred Jackson caught that ball and set up at least field goal territory for the Lions. But the last time, Les, these two teams met, Jeff Garcia went like a knife through butter. Calgary's offense, first drive goes down and scores. This time around, it's Damon Allen looking very confident leading that offense.
Well, you know, when coaches go in and they draw things up on the board, the X's and O's, and they say, this is how we want you to do it. We want you to run here, and we want you to run there, and it works out perfectly on the paper. Now, these guys go out and they put it perfectly done in the first opening drive. And it goes to show you that Damon Allen has all the confidence in the world. When a quarterback can drop back and throw a deep ball like he just did and hit the guy on the face mask, and the defensive back is standing right beside you. I mean, you can't even teach it any better than that. You know, the defensive back is supposed to be one step behind him, right in the hip pocket, to have the quarterback put a perfect pass in there. And look at that. That's exactly what he did.
I think he got a hand in there.
No, look again. On this angle, you'll see it didn't. It touched him. It hit him right in the face.
Well, I thought it was remarkable that Hampton was even back there on that play, because a lot of defensive backs get faked out on that. And I want to say something. At the midway point of the season, I don't think it's too early to look at Rookie of the Year candidates, and I think Hampton is a Rookie of the Year candidate. This guy had 2 interceptions against the Argos, Doug Flutie, and you know, Bob, you're so old that you coached against his father, didn't you, when he was in Montreal?
You know what? I'll tell you another reason. I don't know how old I am. Don Matthews will recognize that play, because they ran that when Adam Reedham was the offensive coordinator in BC. Roy DeWalt did the same thing and completed a pass against Hamilton, and I think it was 1983 in Hamilton.
Wow. Whoa. And Obi, you are aging gracefully, and we're all learning and benefiting from your wisdom. It is the BC Lions with the lead heading into the second quarter. Let's head back to BC Place now. Gord Miller, Glenn Suter, and Dave Archie.
That's kind of heartwarming, isn't it, guys? The guy sitting around the fire by old Bob Obilovich's knee as he tells him campfire tales. Kind of makes me warm and fuzzy all over. The second quarter begins with Lou Pasaglia trying a 45-yard field goal. He's 16 of 19 on the year, 3 for 3 outside the 40. They called the sweepers on it, and Louis slides one through. The Hall of Fame and Museum of Field Goals won't be asking for the tape of that one, but it's worth 3, and the Lions now lead 10-4.
They don't ask how, just how many.
Wow.
And Louis is just like fine wine. Just gets better with age, I think.
I thought that one was going to stop in midair, actually. So Pasaglia puts it through and gives us a chance to take a look at the first quarter numbers brought to you by Midas. Calgary with no yards rushing. And look at the time of possession, 10:46 for the Lions, a 6.5-minute opening drive.
Well, the interesting thing about the time of possession, Calgary comes into this game averaging 32 3/4 minutes, 32 minutes, 45 seconds of possession throughout a ball game. So they normally dominate time of possession. Not so far tonight.
I want to ask you, how tough is it, Dave? You're on the sidelines, the other team gets the ball, and for 20 minutes you sit there waiting to play.
It is difficult. You warm up, you go stand and watch. You warm up, you go stand and watch. You warm up. So Garcia's probably thrown more balls already on the sidelines than he's going to throw in the first half.
He's 10 for 12 on the sidelines, but something less than that on the field.
Wait a minute, there was 2 drops on the sideline? How does that happen?
Brett Anderson will kick it off now. Kelvin Anderson and Marvin Coleman back deep to receive the kickoff. Anderson hangs the kickoff up high. This is Coleman from the 26-yard line. That ball almost hit him. And Coleman fights his way out to the 40-yard line before the stop is made by BC's Kelly Lockbaum. So the Calgary Stampeders will go back to work on offense. Jeff Garcia at the controls is 6 for 7 tonight for 78 yards. Jeff Garcia has a 27-yard run this year against Toronto. No big deal, right? That's the longest run from scrimmage that Calgary's had all year.
In his last 161 attempts, he's thrown 10 touchdowns and 1 interception. The guy is playing good football the last 5 games.
You could argue that the 2 hottest quarterbacks in the league are playing under the big top here tonight. Garcia gives it off on first down to Kelvin Anderson, Johnny Scott, and Maurice Kelly take care of business after a gain of 3. Kelvin Anderson gets out to about the 42-yard line.
Well, the BC Lions were arguing that they had the football. Maurice Kelly's going to come up and help on the run. The Lions were arguing that Kelvin Anderson dropped the ball in this pile-up, and Maurice Kelly had it on top of him.
Well,
the refs say no shot.
Unless there's a camera in the floor of the stadium, we'll never know. 2nd and 7. Garcia in the shotgun. Sets it up for Travis Moore underneath. Travis Moore a first down and then some. Robert Holland makes a wish and brings him down at the Calgary 52-yard line, a pickup of 15 yards.
When you have good speed in your receiving core, what the Calgary Stampeders do have, and you play zone defense defensively, you get stretched, you get pushed back from the defensive back standpoint. That gives you space underneath. That's where Travis Moore takes advantage of it.
Travis Moore, one of 3 Calgary Stampeder receivers on pace for a 1,000-yard receiving season. Garcia from the shotgun on first down. Lots of time. Over the top he goes. Wide open. Vince Danielson. Touchdown, Calgary. Danielson entered the game leading the Stamps in receiving. He adds to his totals with a 52-yard touchdown catch. It's his first snag of the game.
Guard, the BC Lions rolled the defense where Robert Holland went to the middle and played free safety. But he had his head the whole time on where Alan Pitts was lined up, which was on the other side of the field. When he did that, he couldn't react and come back, and Danielson takes advantage of it, and you see Holland way behind the play.
And you talked about it off the top of the show, Dave, that all that attention to Pitts might give Vince Danielson a chance for a big night.
Well, they've shown 2 formations that are new. Alan Pitts all by himself, the short side of the field. The rest of the receivers on the wide side.
Vince Danielson in his hometown of Vancouver played his university football at UBC. Now has a touchdown, his 3rd of the year. Mark McLaughlin puts the point after up and good. And just like that, the Calgary Stampeders storm back to tie the game and now take the lead. 11-10 for the Stamps. Vince Danielson, the Calgary Stampeders' first-round pick in 1994, delivers his 3rd touchdown reception of the year. He's less than 100 yards away from having a career year.
Well, he started the season with a back problem, missed the first game. His first game back for the Stamps was actually here against the BC Lions. He had 89 yards receiving in his first start.
Al Shipman takes the kickoff from the 14-yard line. Shipman with a head of steam, and here he goes. Still going out across the 40. He fights his way up to the 42-yard line. William Hampton makes the stop. A 28-yard return. Meantime, Jeff Garcia's hot streak continues. In his last 11 games, the last 4 games rather, 11 touchdown passes, 1 interception.
He really is hot right now, Gordon. You can tell that he's playing with a lot of confidence, and Alan Pitts has already had an effect for that guy. That guy is just, we talked about it at the beginning of the game, how happy he was to have Alan Pitts back. The whole team is happy, because I guarantee you Vince Danielson's happy also.
Garcia's 8 for 9 for 145 yards on a touchdown already. Early movement, looked like the left tackle Mo Elwanibi jumped the count. That'll move them back 5 yards.
Illegal procedure, BC 64.
Mo Elwanibi's had a little trouble with that coming up from the National Football League. They usually say he goes back too fast. This time he went forward too quick.
He's trying to get out there to run block, and you see him just to the right of your screen, lean across into the neutral zone, but it's a little bit wider field. Plus, the defensive line's a yard off you in the Canadian Football League, so you always try and get that little extra edge, maybe that extra jump.
1st and 15. Allen sets it up for Millington on the screen pass, and look at Alondra Johnson. Search and destroy by Johnson, a gain of 1.
We talked about Alondra Johnson being a ball hawk, and his job is to shadow the quarterback and the remaining back. He smells this screen out right away.
Yeah, it just settles his feet. He's seen this play on film a bunch of times. It's just reading Damon Allen and how that's set up as far as the offensive line getting out and pulling, and was right back there to tackle Millington.
Now 2nd and 14 for the Lions. Allen from the shotgun. Lots of time. Over the top. Trevathan's open. Mike Trevathan with a catch down to the 31-yard line. John Caleb, the safety, prevented the touchdown. But Mike Trevathan with a 40-yard gain has a big BC first down.
When you talk to a free safety who's playing zone defense, the first thing you tell him is that he has to have lots of depth. That means he has to be real deep. John Kaling gets caught backpedaling too much and doesn't turn and get his depth. Trevathan with his speed gets in behind him, and then it's a chase. You have to break downhill from the safety position.
Mike Trevathan coming off his best game of the year, 7 catches for 123 yards last week. He was almost a forgotten man in the first 5 weeks of the season. Allen from the shotgun and first down. Underneath he goes for Al Shipman. And Shipman reverses his tracks down to the 22-yard line. He'll be very close to another BC Lion first down.
Well, Anthony McClanahan was chasing Al Shipman with all he had. His job was to kind of seal Shipman off, not allow him to have the crossing route. You see McClanahan let him go by. And this is when this guy gets dangerous in the open field.
Yeah, they don't care how far they throw him the ball, just as long as he has it in his hands, because when he touches it, the whole stadium gets on the edge of their seat wondering if he's going to break it.
A measurement required. Shipman just short of a first down. Al Shipman in his first year as a receiver in the Canadian Football League. He's been a tailback prior to this. He enters this game second on the BC Lions in receiving. And BC, along with Toronto, the only teams with 4 receivers in the top 20, but they're a little unbalanced. Alfred Jackson is second, Shipman's 18th, Trevathan's 19th, Larry Thompson is 20th.
And all those guys have about the same amount of receptions, so Dame is distributing the ball very well.
Second and inches. Will Allen fake the dive again? No, gives it off to Millington. They'll take the first down as Millington barrels across the 20 and down to the 18-yard line. Surprising to think that the BC Lions would lose Corey Philpott, who's still out, and be more effective offensively. And before the game, Sean Millington rewarded for a 212-yard rushing performance last week. A plaque from owner David Braley, and what a difference a couple of weeks makes for BC. First down for BC from the 19. Allen, quarterback draw, it's wide open. And a pretty good job by the Calgary Stampeders to close it up. Ernie Brown got there, but Allen fights his way down to the 11 for a pickup of 9.
Well, Damon Allen can do this on his own. Sometimes it's a design call, but pretty good job right here. He's going to come right through this seam in the offensive line for the BC Lions. Takes one step, looks downfield. Jamie Terrace is going to lead it down there for him and takes off running.
Brings up another second and short situation. They actually mark it as a gain of 8. Boy, the BC Lions have just owned the football here in the first half. Under 9 minutes to play, BC trailing Calgary 11-10. Millington again, and should have the first down as he barrels across the 10-yard line. This is the battle for second place in the Western Division. The Lions enter this game at 5-3. Calgary, which got off to a 1-4 start, is now riding a 3-game winning streak, standing at 4-4.
I talked to Wally Guano and said, how happy are you with your team, or how satisfied? And obviously you can't be satisfied at the midway point, but how satisfied are you with your team fighting through the adversity to come back from 0-3? And he said he's as proud of this team as he has been of any of the teams he's had.
First down for the Lions, now first and goal from the 9. Allen, quick drop to the end zone. Jackson, touchdown! What a grab by Alfred Jackson! One hand, and the Lions retake the lead.
Well, this is just an offensive play. This is a play made by Allen and by Jackson, because, Glenn, this is pretty good coverage by Hampton.
Well, William Hampton can't do anything better than this. He's right in the hip, but the key for is Alfred Jackson doesn't give William Hampton the opportunity to look back for the football. He runs down the sideline and he waits until the ball is right near his hands to stick them out there. William Hampton had no idea that the ball was arriving.
Alfred Jackson, his 5th touchdown catch of the year. The league's 2nd leading receiver, has put the Lions back on top. 16-11 with the point after to come. Pasaglia puts it through, and the lead seesaws back and forth once more. The Lions with another impressive drive now have a 6-point lead.
Barks, the one with bite. What do you mean Barks has bite? Johnny? What do you mean Barks has bite? Johnny? What do you mean Barks has bite? Oh, hey, man. What do you mean Barks has bite? Here, try some of this. Ouch. I haven't seen him that excited since he got his heels. Ouch. You tell him, Johnny. You tell the world.
At Winnipeg Stadium tonight, the Bombers led the Montreal Alouettes until this drive. Fourth quarter, Mike Pringle. Off tackle and off to the races. 44 yards. He'd be out at the 1. Michael Souls would take it in. Winnipeg had had a field goal, but still trailing by 2. Back to BC.
All right, Rod, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers trying to avoid dropping to 1-8 on the season as the Hamilton Ticats did last night.
Well, it's just announced that Winnipeg signed Grant Carter, who was an NFL cut, so that will definitely help them, but they dearly need a win there tonight.
The former Montreal Alouette, Marvin Coleman, takes the kickoff from Brett Anderson at the 22-yard line. Coleman runs right into his own man. Hardest hit of the night, unloaded by Jason Clement on Marvin Coleman. An 11-yard return of a 53-yard kickoff. Well, another impressive drive by the BC Lions. 7 plays, 68 yards, more than 5 minutes. Damon Allen just does it again.
And Alfred Jackson coming out with that big touchdown catch, and he was instrumental in that game the last time these two played. You see Coleman getting hit by his own guy. He's out there saying, you know what, I'll try and beat 12 BC Lions, but I certainly don't want to have to beat my own team.
First down, Calgary, trailing once again. Play action on first down. Garcia, a one-hopper for Alan Pitts. He was well covered by Damian Lyons.
No, look at all the BC Lions circling number 18. I mean, there was 4 defenders when that ball left Garcia's hands towards Alan Pitts. He's getting a lot of extra attention tonight.
But the guy that makes the play is on the defensive front. Joe Fleming immediately got pressure on the bootleg in Garcia's face. I think if Garcia had been able to pull up, he sticks Pitts in the zone.
And Danny Barrett, one of the offensive coaches for the Stamps, looks on. Alan Pitts must be running. Hey, what happened to Huffnagel? John left now. Lots of changes in Calgary. Garcia. Look out. Virgil Robertson got him. Garcia's furious. He wants a call against the BC defense, but it won't come. And what will come is the Calgary punting unit.
Well, Virgil Robertson comes up with a sack, but Joe Fleming provides the initial pressure on the right of your screen. 76 with a big swim move on Rocco Romano. He gets in the backfield early. Garcia has no chance and is flushed. And then you see Jaders and Virgil Robertson back to clean him up and get the stat. But it was Joe Fleming who's putting together a great season for the BC Lions, who provided the initial pressure.
Tony Martino back to punt. Second in the league in net punting. Only Mike Vanderjagt's been better. Low driving kick. Shipman from the 33-yard line. Shipman beats the first wave. Gets around the corner. Here he goes. Al Shipman. Still going. Going. Touchdown BC.
Well, he picked up a convoy of blockers, Glenn, and the list is huge. He gets Donnie Wilson gets involved, Larry Thompson gets involved, Sammy Brennan got involved. I mean, it's a team play, and what great speed and running ability by the little guy.
I spent some time with the BC Lions in practice this week, watching them, what they were working on, and it was special teams. The Lions spent more time on special teams this week than they have all season. They felt with a guy like Al Shipman, they need to have more production. They worked on it, and it pays off.
Only 3 punts have been returned for touchdowns in the Canadian Football League this year. 2 of them against the Calgary Stampeders. Al Shipman has his first, and BC leads it by 13. In a wide open and wild first half of play, Al Shipman with the punt return for the touchdown, 77 yards. The Lions with a 24-11 lead. What a great first half.
I can't wait for Garcia to get the football. Let's see what they can do with it now. Back and forth.
Brett Anderson to kick it off. Kickoff returns for touchdowns have been even harder to come by than punt returns this year. Maybe Marvin Coleman's got one up his sleeve. Anderson kicks it off. Coleman 23-yard line. Here comes Marvin Coleman. And Coleman fights his way up to the 45-yard line before he's tripped up. But the focus still on Al Shipman after the big punt return.
Now, I got to tell you something. There may have been, look at this. I think Frank Pimiskern got away with a bit of a clip in the back of Aldi Henry there.
You're raining on their parade. But the guy I want to talk about is Donnie Wilson, number 20. He gets 2 blocks. That's a 14-year veteran. Right there, the clean block on John Kalin to Spring Shipman. That's a 14-year veteran making plays out there for you on special teams.
It certainly was. Good team return. We talked about the fact that they worked on it in practice. They set up a couple of extra returns for the Calgary Stampeders because with a guy with the talent of Al Shipman, they really need more production on punt returns, and they're getting it now.
Now, Glenn wanted to talk about Al Shipman. And Dave, he wanted to talk about Don Wilson. You know who I want to talk about? I want to talk about Irma Wenzel of Calgary. Do you know why?
No, why?
Because our Safeway touchdown to win contest. Here's the deal. If any player has 2 punt returns for a touchdown in one game, the contestant wins $1 million. Irma Wenzel of Calgary, you're the contestant.
Wow.
If Al Shipman gets another one in the game, you are $1 million richer.
Ho, ho.
Ho, ho.
Well, the irony there, she's in from Calgary. That's amazing.
Meantime, Harry Van Hufwagen is the injured BC Lion being taken off the field. I was at TSN the day that Paul Molitor, in our hit for the cycle contest in the summertime, had the single, triple, and home run and came to the plate twice more in the game, and we wondered if he knew if he just stopped short on a triple and stop at second for the cycle, or just try to stretch a single into a double. Well, Irma, we're pulling for you, kiddo. Especially if we get a cut. Garcia gives it off to Kelvin Anderson on first down. And Anderson gets out to the 49-yard line for a gain of 4. Kelvin Anderson averaging 4.3 yards a carry. The Canadian Football League Rookie of the Year last year. Last week rushed for 127 yards against Winnipeg. That's the only 100-yard rushing game the Stampeders have had from anyone all year.
Yeah, and it was his second largest game of his career. Although he's only been around for 2 seasons, he's going to have many more like that. His second biggest game of his career.
Garcia, draw play to Anderson. Perfectly executed. Anderson inside BC territory to the 48-yard line. A long way to go on second and long, but they get the pickup of 11 yards.
And just to go back to Kelvin Anderson and the importance of him running the football in this Calgary offense, we've seen Joe Fleming and some of the defensive linemen for the BC Lions getting some pressure on Garcia early in this game. By running the football and throwing in the odd, as you see a good block downfield by Danielson and Maurice Kelly, but when you throw in a couple of running plays and a few draws like that, it slows down that defensive pass rush.
First down, Calgary. Play action. Garcia. Over the top he goes. Looking down there for Terry Vaughn. It was hand fighting with Damian Lyons the whole way down. The pass ball's incomplete.
Well, I think Terry Vaughn's a heck of a ball player, but he gave up on his quarterback right here. This is a throw deep. Terry Vaughn feels like he's covered, and you can never stop on a pass route because you never know when you're going to get the football. Garcia wanted to put Vaughn up the bat right there, and Vaughn threw the bat down and went back in the dugout.
Okay, can we start talking about baseball now?
Hey, when we get going on golf? It's GBO weekend here in Vancouver.
Golf I don't mind, but the baseball's got to go.
Second and 10. Garcia from the shotgun under pressure drop. Dave Chater's got it. And that will take the Stampeders out of field goal range.
Dave Chater's cleans up, but Maurice Kelly coming off the edge is the key. He is untouched. You see number 11 is going to come from this side of your screen. He is untouched on the blitz from the linebacker position. Garcia has to step up, and when he does, look who's waiting for him. Dave Chaters, who is having a career year. He's already had, that's his 5th sack of the season, and that's his best by far in his career.
Now, Tony Martino to punt. Al Shipman back deep to receive. If he takes it back for a touchdown, Irma Wenzel, load up the truck and move to Beverly. You're a millionaire. Martino, to the disgust of Irma, kicks it away from Shipman. Larry Thompson from the 15-yard line gets out to about the 17. Well, if nothing else, it's going to keep you watching to the end of the game to see what happens to Al Shipman. And meantime, Damon Allen is having some kind of start to this football game. Allen, who hasn't been on the field for a while, think about it, the Calgary offense was out there, then the punt return for a touchdown put Calgary back out there. But Allen in this game, 13 of 17, 164 yards and a touchdown.
And no interceptions. He protects the ball so well. And you think about the big four. I'm talking about Tracy Ham, Matt Dunnigan, Damon Allen, and Doug Flutie. In our time, Damon Allen has thrown the least amount of interceptions of the four of them.
On first down, this is Millington. Right through the middle goes Sean Millington. Out across the 30 to the 31.
Well, this is the same play that they had success with last week against Saskatchewan. This time they victimized Anthony McClanahan.
They certainly do. Anthony McClanahan is the one who gets wiped down on the play, and a good job by the offensive lineman Chuck Bradley, and Corey Mantico on the right side of that offensive line springs Milligan.
We've reached the 3-minute warning in Vancouver. The Lions with a 24-11 lead on the Stampeders. Friday Night Football back at BC Place after this.
That was my...
Is your life boring? Are you tired of the same old thing?
Suck it up. Get in the game. The CFL is back and more radical than ever. The action never stops. It's hard-hitting, high-scoring football. Get in the game. Wear the attitude. Go, 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 go.
Hey, suck it up. CFL football. Get in the game.
It's all over in Winnipeg, and here's how it ends. Final play of the game, the Bombers trailing by 5. Kevin McDougall will unload and look for Shalon Baker in the end zone, but no good. Alouettes knock it away, and they've won their third straight, 26-21. Back to Gordon Miller.
All right, back here at BC Place, Damon Allen gives it off to Sean Millington. And Millington fights his way up close to the 34-yard line. Glenn, you made the point about Damon Allen earlier. You talked about what he does with the football on a running play and what the difference he makes for Sean Millington.
Well, it helps out where he can get to the corner and influence the defensive end. You watch the boot now. McClanahan is going to be frozen to the outside, number 41, so he can't fold underneath and get involved on the running play with Sean Millington. Anthony McClanahan has to respect that Damon Allen can get the corner at any time and stay upfield.
And if McClanahan cheats, Allen pulls the ball out. See you later. Allen from the shotgun on second down. Lots of time, pulls the ball down, and Allen now gets tripped up by Marvin Pope. Allen gets a gain of a yard, but it will bring up third down.
Well, Damon sensed some pressure here that I don't think he really had. He had more time to get this ball off, and Mike Trevathan is the guy he wants to get the ball to, and Trevathan's there, but for some reason Damon feels the pressure and wants to try to escape.
I think he got locked in a little bit, and when he felt a little bit of pressure, like you said, took off and tried to run with it. But good job by the Calgary defense to respond and get the ball back for their offense. Now, Damon Allen's pretty much had his way so far in this game.
And Wally Buono calls timeout to stop the clock. 2:17 left, so Calgary will get the ball back with lots of time left here in the first half. Lou Pasaglia the punt. Marvin Coleman's back deep to receive along with Terry Vaughn. That's Coleman, number 17, Vaughn, number 2. 10 men up for Calgary. Pasaglia, a low tumbling kick. Vaughn misses the ball. Whoops, back to the 20 he goes, and he's in trouble. A flag comes down, and Vaughn is buried in the 20. Now that shouldn't be no yards because Terry Vaughn clearly touched the football.
Yeah, now did he touch it or not? The ball's in the air, and it looked to me, David, like he touched the ball as it's coming down. If he does, the no yards penalty should be waived off.
Here's the call from Bud Steen, and here's the look.
I think he touched that football.
And that's what they're trying to determine down on the field.
No yards. BC 91.
They decide he didn't touch the football. It's the shorter no yards variety. Calgary gets the ball to 23, but it's still a gigantic gap. If he catches the ball, Calgary's at the 40-yard line at least. And you see Wally Buono gesturing madly on the sidelines. Wally punted, but knows a thing or two about returning as well. Garcia pulls the ball out, jailbreak. That was a train wreck from the start.
And it was created by Johnny Scott. Johnny Scott just runs right upfield on a draw fake and disrupts the whole play.
Yeah, Johnny Scott and Joe Fleming get in the backfield, and that was just a three-man rush from the BC Lions. 3 guys on 5 blockers for Calgary, and the 3 prevail.
Second and 10. Garcia to the shotgun. Garcia steps up, throws, looking for Terry Vaughn. Did he make the catch? Yes, up at the 44-yard line. They rule it a completion, and what a grab by Terry Vaughn.
It's a super grab and a belief in your player. Watch Garcia drop. Now he's going to believe that Vaughn will make this play. Watch the late hands by Vaughn.
Oh, what a stop. What a great catch.
The key to that play, Glenn, for a receiver is to not show that you're the intended receiver. Late hands, kind of distracted with your eyes, make the play.
Exactly. B.J. Gallus had no idea there.
21-yard gain, first down Calgary. Garcia in the shotgun. Wide field out. Travis Moore has the catch. Leonard Humphreys belts him up at the 51-yard line. The gain on the play is 7. That's a long throw to get 7.
Well, that's a throw you have to be careful with, and Jeff took quite a bit of time deciding whether he wanted to throw it out there, which allowed Leonard Humphreys to get back involved and make it a close play.
Doug Flutie told me the first time he played up here, he pump faked on a wide field out, and all of a sudden it's a 70-yard throw. First time you came up, you must have been shocked by the width of the field.
It's so far out there, you got to make up your mind right now and pop it out there, or bad things happen.
Hey, I think they're good things.
Garcia from the shotgun. Quick throw for Pitts. Pitts has a first down and will now fight his way out of bounds. The veteran receiver moves the sticks, stops the clock. First down at the 50-yard line. And Alan Pitts, as we mentioned, in an extended conversation with Glenn Suter coming up in halftime. A much different Alan Pitts than the one we've seen in past years.
Well, that's the thing I noticed right away from Alan Pitts. He seems like he is more focused than he's ever been. He seems relaxed, more relaxed. He's happy to be back in the Canadian Football League, wants to maybe make his home now in Calgary, and he's got his path straightened out, is focused.
First down, Garcia. Underneath he goes, almost intercepted by Maurice Kelly. Wow, that was a case of Kelvin Anderson playing DB.
Really was. This is called reading the mail. Maurice Kelly got the mail before Garcia had it delivered because it's on its way. Maurice Kelly reads it and is 3 steps into the break before that ball gets there, and pretty good play by Kelvin Anderson to break it up.
It really was, and there's some doubt in my mind whether Kelvin Anderson should have been coming inside with the defender sitting inside. Probably should have sat outside and gave a nice throwing lane to his quarterback.
Brings up second and 10. 3 to go in the first half. Garcia, lots of time. Looking out there once again, incomplete. J.P. Esquerdo says he made the catch. The referees say no. Wally Buono comes to argue. It won't matter. It's third down.
Well, this would have taken the bagel off of JP's stat book. He had no catches coming into the game, and he makes a great effort to make the sideline catch, but I think he is out of bounds. Dives out of bounds.
Yeah, it's a good call by the official. Watch his hands right now. As he hits, he's right on that line. The ball is definitely out of bounds before he can drag his feet, and the official is right on the spot.
And rather than try a 57-yard field goal, Tony Martino will come on to punt. 58 seconds to play here in the first half. Al Shipman back there, and he's already taken one back. This is kind of fun. Maybe not for Irma, but I'm kind of enjoying it. Oh, booming kick by Martino over the head of Shipman through the back of the end zone. It'll be a single point, but there's a flag down on the play. It was 3rd and 10 for the Stamps, and we'll see what the call is all about. Holding is the call against BC. Now,
Now, the flag was thrown back behind the line of scrimmage, so the holding was when BC rushed, not when the return was setting up.
Holding, BC number 18, declined. So they'll decline the penalty, take the point, and trail now by a count of 24-12.
Well, that's the way Martino has to kick the ball to Al Shipman for the rest of the game. Much to the chagrin of Irma at home, this is a situation where he's got to kick the ball out of the end zone or out of bounds. The guy's averaging 12 yards return, leading the CFL in punt return.
Right now, Irma's burning her Calgary Stampeders sweater and putting up a BC Lion poster in the living room. 48 seconds to go in the first half. Damon Allen and the Lions with a 12-point lead. Sean Millington. Back through the middle he goes. Millington gets a gain of about 3 yards. He's tripped up on the play by Anthony McClanahan, and Ernie Brown got in there to help make the stop again.
Well, Calgary's doing so much better job on first down now since the second quarter's come on about taking away the good first play. That puts a bad situation. Now Damon Allen doesn't have as many options to get to. Now he's obviously going to have to drop and throw the football and create something that is a running ability.
And when you have second and long, like you talked about, David, defensively, you pin your ears back and send the kitchen sink because you know that Damon Allen has to throw.
Clock running. 25 seconds to go in the first half. Allen just takes off. Now throws. And the catch is made by Larry Thompson up at the 50-yard line. It'll be a BC Lions first down. The clock will stop with 19 seconds left. Good ground by Thompson.
We talked about Anthony McClanahan containing Allen on a Millington run. This is the opposite. The fake to Millington. And you see 41 had sucked down this time to Sean Millington. Guesses wrong and allows Damon Allen to get to the outside and have a good passing lane. Watch the good play fake. He gets it back in his hip, gets to the outside, and then sees his receiver open up, so delivers a strike.
Kinds of motion by BC. Allen's under pressure, stepping up, gets away. Now Allen fires it deep. Jackson's open, and the ball is just out of bounds. Alfred Jackson had snuck in behind the Calgary defensive backs. It comes on the final play of the first half, and an entertaining opening 30 minutes it was. A punt return touchdown by Al Shipman. A seesaw battle and a BC 24-12 lead. Stand by now for Friday Night Football at the half.
Wayne Harris played at Stampeders and was the Western Conference's all-star middle linebacker. 8 seasons. 8 of those years, Harris was named All-Canadian. He played in 3 Grey Cup games, winning the last one in 1971, in which he was named Grey Cup MVP. You can see more on Harris and other CFL legends at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Hamilton.
Friday Night Football. Boys are being bad. Playing CFL football. Game is up for grabs. It's Friday Night Football tonight.
Welcome back. Friday Night Football at the half. It's BC up on Calgary by 12 at BC Place. Well, at Winnipeg Stadium, Montreal Alouettes looked for their 3rd straight win after they lost 3 in a row and won 3 in a row before that. Alouettes, yes, winning this football game. The final score 26-21. They trailed through much of this game. Winnipeg had an impressive outing, but in the 4th quarter, Mike Pringle, a big run, 44 yards to set up Michael Souls' game-winning touchdown dive into the end zone. And yes, the Alouettes improved to 6-3, so they're streaky. They win 3, they lose 3, they win 3 again. And Winnipeg falling to 1-8. In the offseason, Alan Pitts was involved in an incident that ended up with a broken hand, and he thought the end of his football career. But Pitts, as you may have seen last week, revitalized that career, over 100 yards and catches. He sat down earlier with our Glenn Suter.
Alan, I know a week ago defensive backs around this league started having nightmares. How does it feel to be back in the league?
It feels great to be back in the league. You know, had a tough time this offseason. You know, for a while I didn't even know if I was going to play football again. And to be able to come back out here and then, you know, the way we won last week and I was able to make some plays, it feels good.
Let's talk about that offseason. Some personal things that you had to deal with. It's well documented about your hand. How is the hand now? And what positive things came out of that offseason for you?
You know, just the issues that I dealt with at times, you know, things were very, very tough. But once I look at the overall picture of everything, you know, I don't regret going through it because it has definitely allowed me to feel much better than I felt in years. You know, situation with my hand, you know, in a way, it might work out to be very positive for me. It gave me some time to reflect, gave me some time to deal with some things I needed to deal with. And my hand is much better now, and I'm ready to move on.
Dan Barrett was a big part of the reason that you're back. I know he went down to visit you in the off-season. You've got a real friendship with him now, don't you?
Well, he's always been, you know, a good friend of mine. I think me going through this and him being there in the way that he was, I definitely feel that we're closer now. You know, I can't say enough about what type of friend he's been. He was there, you know, through thick and thin, a lot of support. He was always letting me know how things were going up in Calgary while I was away. So, you know, he's been there. You know, he's been a tremendous help. And I told him after last week, you know, the game and the way that I was able to go out there and play, you know, I just had to take him aside and let him know that he was a big part of that, you know, and I really appreciate how he's been as a friend.
I'm happy about two things. One is you're back in the league and we get the chance to watch you play again, and the other is that I'm not playing anymore, because this is really as close as I've ever been to you on the football field. Now how's your conditioning, though? I mean, you haven't played, you played one game in 8 months now, but how's your conditioning? I mean, you must be sucking a little bit.
Maybe a little, you know. Yeah, I still got a ways to go condition-wise, but I think, you know, playing in games is the only way you're going to get in game shape. It's definitely different coming out to the football field and playing than just running on a track or something like that. After last week, as I told you before, I was really stiff. I've had to get in the ice tub daily, you know, but I feel a lot better going into this week.
Well, taking that break and then coming in first game, 100 yards and a touchdown is pretty good, and I know I'm real happy to see you back in the league, and so are all the Canadian Football League fans. Thanks a lot for your time.
All right. Thank you.
And he is in the top 5 in reception yardage in Canadian Football League history, and still going. Yes, having more of a career than maybe he thought a couple of months ago, Alan Pitts. Les, you talked about coverage and matchups you expected. What have you noticed so far in the way they've covered Pitts tonight?
Well, I noticed earlier that I was talking about the matchup between Alan Pitts and Robert Holland, who they had played before together against each other. But they seem to go away from that and try to match up Donnie Wilson with him, a guy who has been a linebacker for like 5 years. And Coach had mentioned this, that they would probably try to do that, but they did it once. They haven't come back to it. Is it really hard to try to match up a guy on somebody you're trying to expect that you can beat all game?
Well, I think what it is, if they could match up Holland one-on-one on Pitts throughout the game, they'd have to flip-flop the two halfbacks, because if Donnie Wilson's going to stay on their left side defensively, then that's where he can put Pitts. But as we saw in the touchdown to Danielson, they were playing a zone on that one. So you can protect a guy if he's not a good one-on-one cover guy by playing some zone.
But it's not really hard to flip-flop a guy. You've done that. You've talked about doing that before.
Yeah, we've done it. I think if you got a great receiver like Pitts, you should put your best defensive cover guy inside on him.
What do you guys think of the performance Anthony McClanahan's had in the first half?
Haven't seen much of him. He's got fooled a couple times.
Exactly. You want to know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking his mind's on other matters. And about a week from now, he's going to wrestling school, and his tutor will be none other than Bret Hart, the World Wrestling Federation champion. And Anthony McClanahan thinks he's going to be a professional wrestler. In fact, he thinks he's going to make $250,000 a year in the WWF.
And he said he didn't mind even if BC fans decided to throw beer cans at him. He's getting noticed, and that's the kind of personality Anthony McClanahan. Just make him matter, I suppose. Maybe you'll see more of him in the second half. In the first half, BC Lions leading it 24-12. Damon Allen doing an excellent job. We'll have more on Friday Night Football. Right after this, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Saskatchewan Roughriders. Our next game, Labor Day weekend, and it is on Sunday for you. Good Labor Day rivalry there. The Bombers and the Riders, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. We'll have more right after this. At the half at BC Place, it is the Lions leading the Calgary Stampeders 24-12. Biggest difference late with that touchdown return on the punt by Al Shipman. Let's check out the numbers now with Gord, Glenn, and David. Guys?
All right, thank you, Rod. A very entertaining first half of play, and the numbers reflect the fact that both teams did some of the things they wanted to do. The at-the-half numbers brought to you by Dodge Trucks. Lots of offense for both teams, and, of course, the Al Shipman touchdown a big difference, but time of possession a big difference too, Dave.
Really pretty even, but the surprise for me is the time of possession. Calgary normally dominates that category.
You know what I love about this game? It's been well played by both teams. No turnovers on either side.
You know what I love about this game?
What?
It's only half over. The second half is still to come. We'll have that for you in just a moment. Right now, we'll send you back to TSN for a Sports Desk update with Michael Landsberg.
This sports break is brought to you by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning.
And you know what I love about this game? We got Roger Clemens looking for victory number 20 in the season. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the newsroom. I'm Michael Landsberg. Sports Desk at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Well, let's show you whether Clemens indeed get win number 20 in just his 27th start of the season. Pick it up in the 8th inning. He's enjoying a 5-0 lead. The defense breaks down behind him. Mariano Duncan, they got him for the bat, not the glove, and he shows you why. 5-1 as Larry Sutton scores. Rocket would exit trailing at 5-3, but he gives the ball to Kelvin Escobar, and Escobar does the job again. He is 10 for 10 in saves, and Roger Clemens has won his 20th of the season, far and away the earliest Blue Jay ever to win 20 games. Meanwhile, the Expos got beaten again. They're on a real tailspin. 3-1 Chicago over Montreal. We'll see a Sports Desk 11 Pacific on TSN.
Let me understand this. If I'm in the middle of shooting and you yell car, then the goal doesn't count.
That's the rule.
But I already took the shot.
Doesn't matter.
But I already took the shot.
That's the rule. I didn't make it up.
So what do you think, in the NHL they yell car? Real goalies don't yell car.
What? I can't believe you finished them.
I'm sorry, buddy. That's the rules. I didn't make them up.
Kellogg's Frosted Flake cereal for kids of all ages. They're great.
Dad, did you have any friends when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Back in the stadium at BC Place with the Lions enjoying a 24-12 lead. A great night here in Vancouver. Hey, they're pretty excited here today. Richard Zokol torched Northview. And all of a sudden, the Greater Vancouver Open could have a Canadian as the champion. Well, it's just 2 rounds, but it could happen. And here tonight, the Vancouver fans seeing the BC Lions putting on a pretty good first half performance. And now, with a 24-12 lead, they'll begin the second half by kicking it off to the Calgary Stampeders. Brett Anderson, a youngster in his first year out of Simon Fraser University, a first-round pick, does the kickoff duties. 3 different men from Simon Fraser have kicked off for the Lions this year. Anderson, Julio Caravetta, and of course, the immortal Lou Pasaglia.
You know, I saw Caravetta yesterday, and Damon Allen was on his way to the quarterback meeting, and Caravetta wasn't even invited.
And he's the backup.
He felt a little bad about it.
Allen, after a hot first half, looks on. It'll be Jeff Garcia's turn to start first. Here's Marvin Coleman from the 16-yard line. Coleman fights his way out to the 29. Good special teams coverage there by the BC Lions. Kelly Lockbaum got down to make the stop. Jeff Garcia has spread things out tonight. Surprisingly enough, Alan Pitts has just 2 catches for 44 yards. Terry Vaughn's been the man doing some damage with 3 catches. So is Travis Moore.
Well, to be effective offensively, you need to get all your weapons involved. You talk about they have a chance to have 3 receivers go over 1,000 yards this year, and that's all because Jeff Garcia has really come into his own over the last 5 weeks and distributed the ball real well.
First down from the 29-yard line. Garcia play fake to Kelvin Anderson, throws the out to J.P. Escuerdo. Did he make the catch this time? Yes, he does. It's a pickup of 8 yards. Well, you talk about quarterbacks who don't make mistakes. Think about this. Jeff Garcia, for every 57 completions, throws 1 interception. That's a pretty good ratio. Damon Allen throws 1 interception for every 80 attempts. Dave Archer, in your career, how many attempts did you have per interception?
I have no idea.
32.8.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Doug Flutie this year, entering this week, 1 interception for every 31 attempts.
So I got Doug nudged?
You got Doug nudged.
I nudged Doug?
You nudged Doug.
That's the only category that I was able to nudge Doug in. And he still has a chance to beat that one anyway, so.
Of course.
That's great. Thanks, Gord. I appreciate that.
Well, you know, Dave, I'm just here to make you feel better. That is, of course, my role at TSN. Meantime, as all this is going on, a first down for the Calgary Stampeders. We reminisce on the days and nights of Dave Archer. First and 10 for the Stamps from the 40. They're down by 12. And Garcia in the shotgun. Stands in, throws. Travis Moore was too close, and J.P. Escuerdo was too far away. And the pass falls in between.
You know, the guys back in the studio were talking about trying to get Alan Pitts isolated on Donnie Wilson, who they got early in the game. First play of the game, actually, on a corner out. From what I've seen coverage-wise, BC has settled down coverage-wise and really isn't playing a lot of man coverage. They're zoning up and really not keeping anybody vulnerable.
They're zoning up and playing a little match coverage on Alan Pitts, and B.J. Gallus or Maurice Kelly from the linebacker are getting underneath them and providing that extra help.
Garcia on second down for the shotgun is under pressure. Look out. Garcia gets away, throws, and that was almost intercepted by Damian Lyons. Lyons can't believe he didn't make the squeeze, and Calgary will have to punt.
Well, as a quarterback, anytime you roll to the short side of the field, there's not a lot of room for you over there, and most of your receivers are to the wide side, so you didn't have a lot of options. Almost paid the price throwing it up for grabs.
And Damian Lyons knew he had no options, so now it becomes a foot race. And this time, Lyons wins the race, but doesn't come up with the prize.
Lyons remains out there for the punt return, still frustrated. Tony Martino will punt. Al Shipman is back there. He has a punt return for a touchdown earlier in the game. And Martino kicks it to Shipman at the 25. Shipman with a flag down is buried at the 30. Farrell Duclair makes the stop, a 45-yard punt, and a return of 5. Friday Night Football returns to the stadium at BC Place right after this.
Well, Jerry, I don't know about you.
Looking for something different?
I can remember in the past.
Want to get involved?
Feel the rush. Get in the game.
The CFL is back, more radical than ever. The action never stops. It's hard-hitting, high-scoring football. Where are the attitudes?
Feel the rush. Get in the game.
And he's taken down.
Well, we've talked about it all year long, but the race in the West really is something else. Saskatchewan drops to 4-5 on the year. Calgary with a chance to tie BC for second. And remember, Edmonton and Calgary next. Home-and-home series. Labor Day in Calgary the following Friday in Edmonton.
That's the reason Wally Buono wanted this game so badly. That puts him at 5-3 with the home-and-home with Edmonton. At the end of that, if he wins those games, could be in first place, having won the series against the Eskimos. But that's a lot of ifs.
The penalty was against the BC Lions. Illegal block pushed them back to the 20. That was just the 5th penalty of the football game.
Which is a way you love to see it. Let them play.
It has been well played in every respect. Lions now start at the 20, first down. Sean Millington deep in the backfield. Takes the handoff from Allen and gets not much. Millington tripped up after a gain of maybe 1. And boy, Damon Allen's got a hard job keeping everyone happy on this BC Lion offense. And you know what? In this game, he's doing a pretty good job spreading it around.
He did a great job last week getting everybody involved, and he's done a good job of getting everybody a touch of the football. That gets them involved in the first half. Now they're there for you in the second half.
What do you say in the huddle, Dave, when guys are asking you for the football all the time?
Well, they ask pretty quietly. If they ask pretty vehemently, they're sent to the sidelines.
In abject shame. Allen on second down. That pass was tipped. And in behind Larry Thompson, that looked like it skipped off someone's hand and fell incomplete.
Alonzo Johnson had the pressure from the outside. I'm not sure if he was the one who got his hands up on the football. Marvin Pope was coming up the middle, so it's interesting to see how that ball was tipped, though. It was tipped and went straight up in the same spiral. Here comes the pressure. You see 51 from the top of your screen. He's going to get his hand and just sort of force it up a little higher.
It was Alondra Johnson who got a piece of it. And Lou Pasaglia will have to punt. Marvin Coleman, the only man back for Calgary, 11 men up for the Stamps. Here comes the rush. Pasaglia gets it away. Good kick. Coleman from midfield. Here comes Marvin Coleman, just diving across the 50 down to the 47. A 7-yard return of a 34-yard punt. Back to the stadium at BC Place, where the Stamps trail by 12 after this.
Hey, that's great. But who are the chefs?
Not going anywhere for a while?
Great googly moogly.
Grab a Snickers.
You spell it.
Yeah. Back at BC Place, Matt Dunnigan had the greatest single-game passing in league history. Danny Barrett held that record for all of 18 minutes. He did it in 93 against Toronto here at the stadium at BC Place. I said before the game, hey, Coach Barrett. He said, don't call me that. I'm a player who holds a pen. Hey, whatever works. Does a pretty good job. First down, Calgary. Jeff Garcia for Terry Vaughn on the receiver screen. Vaughn trying to get back outside, but Don Wilson got a hand on him, and then Leonard Humphreys came up to finish it off.
If Danny Barrett's a player who holds a pen, then David and I are players with headsets.
Well, you know what? Last night, Mike Vanderjagt of Toronto said that he doesn't want to be called a kicker. He wants to be called an athlete who kicks.
Okay.
So I guess this all goes in the file labeled the artist formerly known as Prince, I guess. Hey, Danny Barrett was throwing some before the game, and he can still sling it.
Oh, he stays in shape.
Had some knee surgery at the start of the year, but there's been some speculation he'd come back and play. Garcia, or for Vince Danielson, reverses his tracks. Don Wilson sets him up. The ball came out, but the rule Danielson was down. Greg Frere's really unloaded on him, and Vince Danielson is injured. Greg Frere's really gave Vince Danielson a shot.
Hey, he got bit in the wrong direction there, but Danielson will be fine. But what you really see here is the defense of BC stepping up and taking away the man opportunities and making Garcia throw the ball underneath and then rallying to the football.
They really are dropping deep and then coming up on these short passes and pounding the receiver. And Vince Danielson had back troubles early in the year. We talked about that at the beginning of this game. And when you get bent backwards like he's going to right there, over that back, that's where the problem comes.
That's the best thing for your back, actually getting bent over like that by guys that are taking long runs at you. Mark McLaughlin will come on to try the field goal from 48 yards out, about where his miss came from earlier, stopping his 11-game field goal streak. McLaughlin puts it up and misses it to the right. Al Shipman will concede the single point, and Calgary will cut the BC lead to 11, but be disappointed about it. The Stamps are hoping for at least 3 there.
Boy, that'll make Coach O be back in the studio happy that Al Shipman downed the football there. He's a proponent of downing the football and all missed field goals.
And, of course, Al Shipman, a big story in this football game. We talked about it earlier, the punt return touchdown in the first half. 77 yards he went for the score. Just the 3rd punt return touchdown of the Canadian Football League this year. Mike Clemens and Chris Wright had the others, and Mike Clemens also came against Calgary. I would expect long special teams meetings in Calgary this week. Maybe time to bring some food. That could be a sleepover. Bring your toothbrush too. On first down, Damon Allen on play action. Over the middle he goes. Alfred Jackson with the catch. Alfred Jackson into Calgary territory down to the 48-yard line. Anthony McClanahan got there to make the stop. But Jackson with a big pickup and a gain of 20.
Alfred Jackson's right here is going to work across the middle of the field on the pattern, on the in pattern, but great time from Damon Allen to throw on the play action fake, so Alfred Jackson can work himself open into the middle of the field.
Got tripped too. From the 49, Allen in the shotgun. Still has lots of time. Swings it out for Shipman. And the pass was over his head, incomplete. He'd have been buried anyway. They're better off with an incompletion.
Good decision to throw it away there. There was nothing there, and William Hampton was there to make the play anyway, so Damon throws the football away, regroup.
Hey, listen to the QB there, Glenn. Hey, threw that away. It's not an incompletion. He did it on purpose.
No, he threw that one away. I'll go with it. I'll go with it. I'll ride with it. I think he did.
Always keep the quarterback happy. That's the big
thing. And you know what? It's one of the reasons Damon Allen hasn't thrown many interceptions this year. He makes good decisions just like that.
shotgun just corrals the snap. Now under pressure, Allen trying to get away, can't. Tripped up at the very last second by Dwayne Patterson. It is a quarterback sack. That'll be Dwayne Patterson's 8th of the year. He's 2nd in the league to Alfred Payton.
He's been a consistent force for the Calgary Stampeders and on a defensive line that struggled early to maintain some consistency. But Dwayne Patterson, from the beginning of the season till right now, has always brought the heat, and it reflects that in his stats.
They call him Gramps. He's 25 years old. He looks like he's 35, they say. And his teammate in college, Raymond Biggs, said he looked like that when he was 18. Luke Pasagli at a punt. Marvin Coleman at the 10, hemmed in at the sideline. And Coleman just dives ahead to the 20. A 10-yard return of a 40-yard punt. Well, in the 90s, Calgary has really owned BC, sweeping the series last year. And until BC beat Calgary in week number 2, the Stamps had won 12 straight games against BC. And in this stadium, Calgary is 9-1-1 in the 90s.
Those 2 games last year, defense for Calgary was a big part of the reason that they won both games. In the first one, they had 3 picks, and in the second, 4 sacks. So Calgary's defense was tough last year, and the reason they won those games.
Lifetime, Calgary is 13-5-1 in the stadium, a better winning percentage than the Lions have here. Garcia on first down is under pressure, gets away, and he'll run. Garcia puts his head down, gets out to the 28-yard line, and a gain of 7. Jeff Garcia not afraid to stick his nose in there, Dave.
Well, Donnie Wilson said that this is something they feared about Jeff Garcia that most teams don't consider, and it's his athletic ability to be able to pull it down and go make something happen. What Jeff doesn't do, though, is get down on the ground. They got a young quarterback on the bench to have to come in for him. He needs to get down and make sure the body's taken care of.
Take care of the body, and the body will take care of you. 2nd and 3. Garcia gives it off to Anderson. Kelvin Anderson slides outside and should have the first down. Don Wilson brings him down after a gain of 4.
Well, this defense for the BC Lions have done a nice job in stopping Kelvin Anderson on the run. They're flowing to the ball. Tyrone Chapman fills the inside gap. Maurice Kelly and Don Wilson help out to the outside. And one of the reasons they're having success is the play of the middle linebacker. Tyrone Chapman takes away the initial hole from Kelvin Anderson.
First down, Garcia in the shotgun. Slings it out there, almost picked. That was almost intercepted by Don Wilson, stepping in front of Kelvin Anderson. And Don Wilson, the cagey 11-year veteran, almost had his 3rd pick of the year.
Well, Donnie Wilson is 5th all-time in interceptions in this league, and he's done it by baiting quarterbacks. And he baited Garcia into thinking he had that throw to Kelvin Anderson and almost stole it for 6.
And I think Kelvin Anderson, if Calgary has an injury on defense, could play DB. That's his 2nd knockdown.
Now 2nd and long. Garcia has a convoy in front of him. Up and throwing. Pitts. Did he make the catch? Yes. And it's a first down to the 47-yard line. Alan Pitts with his 3rd catch of the game is a gain of 15.
Leonard Humphreys got too soft. He started to back up, and he kept looking at Garcia and kept his feet moving. Number 24 is going to show up late to the right as Pitts catches this one on the boundary. And right after the play, he was pointing at himself. You see his right hand there. That's how far back he was, because he got way too soft in the coverage and allowed Pitts to get open on the sideline.
Big first down for the Calgary Stampeders. Moves them out to their own 47. Garcia. Play fake to Anderson. Under pressure, Garcia trying to get away, throws it away. Lions screaming he was in the grass, but they won't get the call. It'll be an incompletion.
Well, Fleming almost tackled Fred Childress and Jeff Garcia on this play. He does a great job of getting out and contain Garcia, and Garcia does a heck of a job of getting the ball off.
Yeah, it works to the outside. He's one-on-one with Dwayne Ford, the fullback. Then he goes through Childress, beats him there, and then it's just like sort of a struggle to get Garcia down, who's a strong quarterback.
Yeah, because you know what he did was he threw away the 330-pound guy, but then he couldn't tackle the 190-pound guy.
Again, it's fatigue factor, I think, there.
Second down, Garcia from the shotgun. Again, Childress in front of him. Lots of room for Garcia. Wants the first down, but won't get it. He slides to midfield, and a frustrated Jeff Garcia and the Calgary offense will head to the sidelines. And now Maurice Kelly takes kind of a swat at him, and he won't like that.
Well, what we're seeing from this Calgary offense is the role for the quarterback. We've seen it several times here in the second half. Obviously an adjustment to give Garcia a little bit more time to throw. What it does is it gives him time. It also cuts down the field.
You talked about the toughness of Jeff Garcia. Most quarterbacks would head for that sideline and get out. Garcia wanted the first and cut back. Now he's held short, but that's a little toughness in a quarterback to cut back and take a hit. Try and get the first down. Tony Marciano says he's quarterback with a linebacker's mentality.
Well, that kind of mentality is what used to land Matt Dunnigan Christmas holidays in the hospital every year. Tony Martino on a punt. Al Shipman from the 15-yard line. Shipman trying to get outside. Great play to stay with him by John Kalin, who stuffs him at the 10. A 40-yard punt, a loss of 1 on the return. BC in a big hole when we come back. Next Sunday, a Labor Day weekend tradition. Winnipeg makes the journey to Taylor Field to take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The game starts at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. And the question for Jim Daly is, and Jim, I'm sorry to do it to you, man, but who do you start at quarterback? And I got to think that's heating up again in Regina.
Well, I'm sure it'll be Reggie Slack, but I'm thinking that they may see Kevin Mason a little earlier than they did versus Toronto.
Damon Allen and the Lions here nursing an 11-point lead. Give it off to Sean Millington on first down. Here comes Millington. Oh, man. He just put his head down and boomed his way out to the 24. Pretty close to a BC first down.
Well, Chuck Bradley pulls on the play. He's from this side, going to pull all the way around to the other side and lead it up. Chuck Bradley comes around the corner with Mike Whitthacombe, and now Marvin Coleman, number 17 at 170 pounds, has to lower his shoulders and head and stick it in there, and he does a pretty good job to his credit.
I asked Marvin how he could be the third leading tackler in the Canadian Football League playing the corner. He says, I love to stick my nose in there, he said, but I got to learn to pick my spots. I'm getting a little sore this late in the year. 2nd and inches for the Lions. They give it off to Millington, and Millington gets stopped. Ernie Brown got in there again, along with Dwayne Patterson, and did Millington get enough to get a first down? It'll be close, and they'll say he did as he crossed the 25.
This is all about just getting lower than the other guy, and as it turns out, Calgary was lower, but Millington weighs 225 pounds, and that gets him across.
And there's some beef in there. Now, I got to say, with all due respect to the BC offensive line, some of these weights are at least 10 years old.
I would agree.
Corey Mantika hasn't been 281 since he was in high school.
All the big guys always want to write down that they're lighter, and all the little guys and receivers want to put an extra few pounds on. I know guys and receivers used to weigh in with coins and keys and things in their pocket in training camp to get a little more weight.
By the way, can you change $20, Clint? Yeah, you can bring 100. On first down, Allen wide out to Larry Thompson, working on William Hampton. Thompson close to another first down. Has a pickup of 35 yards. And of all the receivers in the league, Larry Thompson may earn his yards more than anyone. He makes the short catch of the long run.
Larry Thompson's a short receiver. William Hampton is back deep. Because he's that deep, you're going to see a lot of patterns just like this from Larry Thompson. Take about 4 steps, turn around, catch the football, and make Hampton make the tackle.
Thrown down right at the first down marker, and they'll have to measure to see if he got it. Well, Larry Thompson is a guy who averages less than 10 yards a reception, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that he is receiving so many of that type of pass.
Well, he plays the short side of the field a lot for the BC Lions, and when you're on the short side, a lot of teams play what's called cut coverage, or deep. The DBs will back off deep, so just like you said, Larry Thompson will catch the short ones.
LT, former Winnipeg Blue Bomber and Saskatchewan Rough Rider. He wants to get in behind people, though. He wants to score the big touchdowns like everyone does here in BC. And the Lions with 18 first downs at this point in the game. We have 3 minutes left in the third quarter. constitute a crowd.
Well, the defensive front of Calgary has stepped up. They're playing much better. They came into this game as a defensive front, the front four, with only 39 tackles among them with 10 sacks, as opposed to what was happening on the other side of the ball with BC's defense, 60 tackles from their defensive line. So you can tell, and 14 sacks. The defensive line for BC has been much more active throughout the season, but Calgary's stepping it up now on the defensive side of the ball.
On second down, Allen to the shotgun. Allen wanted to go shovel pass. That stopped. He goes back the other way. A flag comes down. Allen puts his head down. Marvin Coleman adds to his tackle total. And Allen having a laugh as he tried to rip the ball out. And he'll be well short of a BC Lion first down. The flag is undoubtedly holding against the Lions. Dave Archer was waving his arms as soon as it happened.
It was definitely a holding penalty, but it was a
holding. BC 65. Penalties declined.
Chuck Bradley gets the call.
The play was an aborted shovel pass. Glenn, you got the penalty?
Well, he's up here at the top of the line. Chuck Bradley, number 65.
Oh, you think?
A little bit of holding. Dwayne Patterson.
Third down, Pasaglia to punt. Low driving kick by Pasaglia sends Coleman back to the 25-yard line. Here comes Marvin Coleman. Dancing his way up to the 45. He goes, a 20-yard return. That'll give good field position to Jeff Garcia and the Calgary offense. Calgary has the only points of the second half, and should say the only point one. But Garcia having a pretty decent night, 15-25, 203 and a touchdown. But the defenses have settled in here in the second half.
Well, this is a chance for him to step up now. 45-yard line, good field position. They're winning the field position battle. Now Jeff needs to get some points on the board for his team.
Pitts is lined up to the wide side of the field. The top of your screen, he's got 3 catches in the game. From the shotgun, Garcia steps up, gets away, all kinds of room to run. And Garcia still going. Garcia fights his way down to the 37, lost the ball. And they'll say he was down at the 37-yard line. Leonard Humphreys came up to make the stop. What a scamper by Jeff Garcia. A pickup of 28 yards.
It's going to open up right through the middle for Jeff Garcia, and watch the hole that he has to run through. I think, Gord, you could have made it through this hole. Tyrone Chapman goes out to Kelvin Anderson, and when he does, it opens up.
Hey, don't you laugh at me, Glacier, like there. Dave Archer thinks I'm slow. What was your 40 time?
Yeah, but at least I had a wing that could get it out there.
First down, draw play to Kelvin Anderson. That gets stacked up quickly. B.J. Gallus got in there. Gallus out there in place of David Mieva, who's still injured for BC. Limits the gain to just a couple. He's played a little bit of both for the BC Lions, linebacker and defensive line in his first year in Lafayette.
Well, he's listed as a linebacker today, but he's really been a defensive back in charge of double covering Alan Pitts when he's been on his side. So he played strong safety in college, has the ability to run. He's using it now.
Garcia from the shotgun. He wants Pitts, can't find him. And now, with players all over him, throws it away. Joe Fleming all over him, crowd hollering for intentional grounding. Won't get it, and Mark McLaughlin in the field goal unit will come out. Joe Fleming was all over Jeff Garcia on the play.
Jeff Garcia wanted to go to Alan Pitts at the top of your screen, and he couldn't get him because B.J. Gallus had the coverage, and Joe Fleming is having a good game, gets around the corner and gets to the quarterback.
McLaughlin will try a field goal from 42 yards out. The BC Lions defense standing firm. We talked about this in the first half. Calgary with drives that stall continually. The Stamps have rarely been inside the 20-yard line. Dickinson gets it down. McLaughlin puts it up and through. Calgary chipping away at this BC Lion lead, which is now down to 8. The score, BC 24, Calgary 16 on the final play of the third quarter.
Friday night football, Friday night football, Friday night football tonight.
Friday Night Football.
A little rap in there, huh?
Yeah, it's a little different tune. Something a little different for you all the time, keep you on the edge of your seats. 4-0 the score in the third quarter, Calgary over BC. So I guess defense really coming to the fore less in that quarter. And Donnie Wilson, your old friend, having a pretty good one himself.
Well, you know, we talked a little bit about Donnie Wilson earlier about how teams would try to match up receivers on him and try to take advantage of this guy. This guy's been in the league for a mighty long time, and he's been in the league for a reason. You know, like we'll see here pretty soon, this guy comes up and he makes plays. Somebody must have been telling him in the locker room that they've been talking about him and trying to match players up on him or something, but look how he comes up here big on the run. Now, that's because he's been playing linebacker for a while. He knows how to fill. And now we're going to see on this other play where he comes up and he makes a good play on an interception, almost interception. You know, Donnie's he's second in the league lead for interceptions, and I'm glad he didn't get that one because he tells me that he's chasing me and breathing down my neck very hard.
Makes you wonder why Toronto got rid of him, huh?
Well, you know, people wonder why he's not playing with different teams and this team and that team, but these plays show you that this kid can still play.
I
don't think you can argue Toronto's defense.
No.
Donnie Wilson winning Grey Cups with Edmonton, Toronto. So
yeah.
He's got his share of rings, looking for one for the thumb with BC. In this one, Mark McLaughlin nails that field goal, but something about BC plays beforehand, albeit long field goal attempts outside 40, but sometimes he's better outdoors than he is inside.
Well, the guy that impresses me inside is Louis Pasaglia. Louis is a future Hall of Famer for sure. He's been playing forever, and he kicks extremely well in BC place, and he's doing a good job of trying to kick the ball to the sidelines on the punt returns for Calgary.
So you're not going to make fun of his old legs tonight, huh?
Well, when he gets outdoors, I think you see it a little more.
You know, somehow it always ends up coming to a conversation with Obi about age. So, I don't know, Marty, you do that in
I just want to say one thing. Calgary's going to come back and win this game.
We got to head back to BC place now. Marty's made his prediction. They're down by 8. Need a touchdown with a 2-point convert to tie it up. Back to BC place we go, guys.
24-16, the lead for BC over Calgary as the fourth quarter begins in a crucial Western showdown as Calgary looks to pull into a second-place tie with the BC Lions. Damon Allen and BC start at the 35 after the Mark McLaughlin field goal. They give it off to Sean Millington, and here comes Millington again. A pickup of 9 as he gets out to the 34-yard line. Sean Millington having a decent game, 9 carries for 56, and here are the numbers through 3. And you can see still no turnovers in the game. Time of possession has evened out somewhat, and Calgary gets the only points of the quarter, but gets only 4.
Well, these are the top 2 teams in the league in the giveaway-takeaway ratio, and so they don't turn the football over very much and take it away from their opposition. Something's got to give. I smell a big turnover here before it's all over with.
Dave, you make the point about the giveaway-takeaway ratio. Take the number of times you give the ball away and the number of times it gets taken away from you, and you get that ratio. It's interesting to note that it's the one statistic that is truly indicative of good teams. Over the last 4 years, the team that has won the Grey Cup has been in the top 3 in that category. And only once in the 90s has a team won the Grey Cup after finishing the regular season minus in the giveaway-takeaway. That was Calgary in 92.
Well, you certainly don't score much without the football. You need to take care of the ball.
First down for the 46-yard line. Damon Allen on the play fake. Up and throwing. Mike Trevate there. Just caught that in his hip pocket. Gets out to the 51-yard line. Pickup of 5.
Well, just a bootleg fake this time. They've been running Millington with some success. This time he pulls the football. It's all his call. He's got Trevathan in the flat, sticks him for a nice play on first down.
Pretty good job by Marvin Pope to keep containment. See 91 flash there to the left of your screen. He makes Damon Allen throw it from back in there and not get it in the corner.
Second down now for the Lions, and Allen to the shotgun. 13 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. BC with the lead. Allen swings it out. Look out! Big collision. Millington wins it big time. He ran right over his man, Al Jordan. I mean, he dropped a piano on it.
And here's a case where a lot of people want to talk about why does a quarterback throw it underneath on a second down and 5, second down and 6 situation underneath of a first down. Here's Sean Millington coming right at you. Let's listen to the play.
threw the football. It only matters where the ball was released, not where his foot was, and that's what the discussion is. Bud Steen with the call. The line of scrimmage was the 38-yard line, and it will be against BC.
Illegal pass, BC number 9.
So Allen did release the ball across the line of scrimmage. Have a look and ignore his feet. Look where the ball was released.
The 38-yard line.
Wow.
I think his right arm was just over.
And you know what? I think they flagged his feet right there. I don't think they looked at the ball. His foot was beyond the 38, but the ball wasn't.
1st and 20. Allen, quick throw to Al Shipman, makes the grab, has some blocks, and Shipman stopped by Alondra Johnson as he gets down to the 38. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. So Al Shipman gets back 10. Damon Allen and company on the move here. 11:20 to go, and BC leading by 8. The Lions have put together impressive marches throughout the football game. One of the few ball control teams left in the Canadian Football League. Here comes the blitz on 2nd down. Allen swings it up for Shipman, makes a fingertip catch. Shipman's got a long way to go, still going, and he's close. Across the 30, down to the 29. He'll be about a yard short of a BC 1st down.
Well, once again, here's a case where you drop the football off to one of your players that you know has a chance to make a play. Even though it's short of the 1st down, you put him up the bat and see if he can make something happen, and Al gets him close enough to where I think they may be able to go right here.
Well, this is interesting, guys, because with an 8-point lead, the field goal would make it 11, but the Lions will gamble.
And what an athlete to drop the football off to. Al Shipman never lets the first guy tackle him. John Galen could have held Shipman short by far of the 1st down, but missed him.
3rd and a yard. Allen trying to draw them, dives ahead, and has the BC 1st down. Allen got about 3.
When you talk about quarterback sneaks, there's 2 guys that run the quarterback sneak maybe better than anybody in this league. It's this guy, Damon Allen, and Doug Flutie, because they pick the area they're going to run to. Your offensive line is just wedge blocking. These are coming down, putting shoulder to shoulder, and just creating a surge, and then you pick and try to find your spot. Those 2 guys, Damon Allen and Doug Flutie, do that the best, because every now and then they'll just slip out and take it off down the sidelines with you.
In the meantime, you're sliding in behind the Mack truck known as Mike Withico. 1st down, BC. Allen, pump fake, going deep, wide open. Alfred Jackson, touchdown! Executed.
Oh, and how many hitch passes have we seen him throw tonight, Glenn, where he's caught Jackson, he's got one out, he's got several out to Larry Thompson. That sets his play up. Finally, those cornerbacks that try not to be aggressive finally bite.
And the rookie, you're exactly right, who's having a great season, got caught here looking at the quarterback. As a defensive back, you're in man. You have to keep your eyes on your receiver. William Hampton peeked into Damon Allen at the pump fake, froze his feet, and Alfred Jackson ran right by him.
Alfred Jackson with his 6th touchdown catch of the year, his 2nd of the game. The point after from Lou Pasaglia is good. The Lions drive it right down their throats. And now the lead is 15. Damon Allen has now thrown 13 touchdown passes on the year as BC takes a 15-point lead. Allen's eyes got as big as saucers when he saw Alfred Jackson so open. We'll show it to you in a minute. 9.5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. The BC Lions have touchdown drives of 6.5 minutes, 5:07, 5:29, and oh yeah, a punt return for a touchdown that took about 40 seconds, but they've really controlled the football and, by contrast to Calgary, have finished those drives. Brett Anderson kicks it off to Marvin Coleman at the 20. Coleman goes straight ahead. Here he comes. Coleman still going. Gets close to midfield. The kicker, Brett Anderson, got him there, and Calgary will have good field position. Let's go back to the touchdown, Glenn.
Well, I want to take a look at William Hampton's head. There he is right there, and he's looking back at Damon Allen the whole time. Now watch, he's looking at Damon Allen. Now he's beat.
And as a quarterback, Dave, that's what you love to see, and you love to see this, too, from Sean Millington.
Sean Millington steps up and makes a block to allow this to happen. His quarterback is pump faking. Millington steps up and blocks McClanahan. See, this play takes a lot longer to develop, so you need those kind of blocks. Millington made the block to allow to get the play off, along with the big offensive front, because there was absolutely no leakage up front.
And David Archer, when you see a receiver that wide open, is that not the hardest throw to complete?
Yeah, that's like throwing the ball against the air, and a lot of times you miss those kind of throws because you're trying to guide it in, or you underthrow it, and a scrambling defensive back to try to get back to make the play gets back because you've underthrown it, knocks it down. So Damon, great job of getting the ball in there.
And we talked about the drive, 9 plays, 75 yards. Alfred Jackson caps it off with the 27-yard score for the BC Lions. You know, people have talked about BC, and they've kind of come and gone offensively this year. They haven't been able to put together back-to-back dynamite performances. You go back to last week against Saskatchewan, and now this week against 2 pretty good defensive teams. The BC Lions have served notice.
And they may have seen something in Sean Millington now that they're going to look forward to for the rest of this season, because last week Millington had the big rushing game, and now we see even in this drive he had the big block on the touchdown throw and the huge run when he ran over Al Shipman.
Brad Yamoka was the injured BC Lion. Calgary begins on the BC side of midfield after the kick return by Marvin Coleman. Jeff Garcia in the shotgun. 6 receivers out there. Garcia steps up, throws it underneath. Terry Vaughn with the catch. Fights his way down to the 45-yard line. He'll have a gain of 9. And it'll be 2nd and short for Calgary.
Well, Calgary's got all the versatility that the BC offense does, because Kelvin Anderson can do a lot of the things that Al Shipman does. This time Kelvin Anderson is lined up at a wide receiver, which is a different look for a secondary, and now it confuses. You got to make some good checks. We talked to Dave Taters yesterday, and he was talking about they're having some problems in the secondary not making the right checks. That time they were in the right defense.
2nd and short. Garcia just drives ahead, and he'll have the Calgary Stampeder first down.
Tony Marciano and Danny Barrett were just in a conversation with Alan Pitts on the sideline, who came off for the short yardage team, but he might have something up their sleeve for number 18 in this series.
Well, you talked to him at halftime. We saw the interview at halftime, Glenn. You got to wonder about conditioning. It's hot here at BC Place. It's always hot. This guy is essentially playing what for most people would be a second preseason game with no training camp.
Yeah, he said he spent 3 days after that first game in the cold whirlpool.
First down, Garcia drops back, fires, looking, it's picked off. Greg Frères. Greg Frères has the interception, and now he's off and running. Garcia trying to force him back in. Frères takes it all the way down to the 31-yard line before he's finally stopped by Chris Lewis. Jeff Garcia throws the interception. The first turnover of the game is a huge one for the Lions, who have a 15-point lead and the ball.
Donovan Bailey loves the 100. The Maple Leaf 100% all-meat Frankfurter. They aren't like typical all-beef hot dogs, because all beef isn't always all meats. Maple Leaf 100s are 100% all meat and seasonings only, with no fillers, byproducts, or MSG. Donovan knows the 100 is the only one that counts. Maple Leaf 100, because all beef isn't always all meat.
Would you like to make a long-distance call?
What's the catch?
Be my guest.
Well, I'm going to call my sister. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning in Paris. Bonjour. Do you know what's really in these days? Cute wear for dogs. This year, it is classics. Gold, diamonds. No dog should be without them. Oh, this was a poodle. This was not a big dog. Couldn't even walk in a proper pair of pumps. Very hard to do.
There's always something to say long distance. What are you waiting for?
If I can dress humans, I'm sure I can dress dogs.
Working hard? Then you need a good meal, like Wendy's Smoky Bacon Cheeseburger Combo with hickory smoked bacon, roasted smoked cheddar, prepared fresh right when you order it, plus biggie fries and a drink.
It's the perfect meal for the working man and woman.
Our 10th season on the road, and we're still motoring. Motoring 97, Sundays only on TSN. Well, Greg Frères has his second interception of the year. A guy who played his university football here at Simon Fraser. A big pick as he steps in front of the ball and takes it all the way down to the 31-yard line to set BC up with good field position with a chance to add to the lead. That was the first turnover of the game. It came halfway through the fourth quarter. Allen, play fake. He wants it all now. Pump fake again. Now dumps it underneath. I think he wanted Larry Thompson up the sideline. Couldn't get it to him. Let's go back to the interception. What happened here, guys?
Well, I believe that Garcia forces this football. He doesn't have an outlet, Glenn.
Yeah, it's all go pattern, and Travis Moore comes down the seam. Now, Greg Frères does a nice job of not biting on Vince Danielson underneath, staying deep, and when the quarterback throws the pick, now he's got to do this.
Boy, I've gone through that before.
Actually, let me just look it up. How many times? 63, I think it was. Wasn't it, big fella? Let's see. Yeah, 63 picks in your career.
Thank you.
Oh, I just thought I pointed out. Second down, David Allen. Flushed out of the pocket. Allen has lots of time. Slings it out there. Millington makes the catch. Oh, my goodness. Sean Millington took it away from two Stampeders. First down, BC.
And David Allen is standing down in front of Wally Buono and the Calgary bench, throwing his hands in the air like, well, you're going to
Illegal
get some.
contact on an eligible receiver. Calgary 41. Decline.
Wow, and there was pass interference on the play, too.
Well, there's no way this ball's intended for Sean Millington.
What a nice job initially by David Allen to beat Steve Anderson right there with a quick move to the outside. Now, this is a little bit of luck, but sometimes you better be lucky than good.
What a catch by Millington between John Kalin and Al Jordan. I mean, he just took it away from him. And it's first and goal Lions at the 6.
Hey, you know what they say, better lucky than good any day, and he was lucky there, no question about it.
First and goal. Millington in the backfield. Allen, you give to Millington. And it took about 5 Stampeders to stop him after a gain of 1. Well, we talked about it. Sean Millington didn't appear on many teams' advanced scouting reports until last week. He had 24 carries for 49 yards. He's averaging 2 yards a carry, but wait, there's more. He just needed a little time to get going. In the 8th game, 212 yards rushing, and tonight, 14 carries for 58 yards for Sean Millington, and a big catch for the first down as well. Second and goal from the 5. The Calgary defense digs in. Allen to the end zone. And that play broken up by William Hampton. It'll bring up third down.
Oh, this is a slant play inside. William Hampton is the cornerback. He's going to break on the ball and actually has a better break than Alfred Jackson has on the ball.
Yeah, he was victimized on that deep one when he bit on the pump fake, but this time he beats Jackson to the spot where the ball is thrown in pretty good coverage, and he came up holding that left arm kind of to his side. He might have a shoulder problem.
You know what? For the first time in 22 years, I think they're actually booing, not looing. I think they wanted BC to go for it here, the fans in the stadium. See Lou Pasaglia in the field goal unit. I think they wanted Adam Reeder to go for it, but this is the play here, the field goal. Nothing more than a chip shot from 11 yards out. Pasaglia puts it up and through, and with 5:26 to play, the Lions have extended their lead to 18 points. Reason to smile on the BC side.
Friday night football tonight.
Lots of stories here. Al Shipman with a punt return for a touchdown in the first half. The Lions 17-point second quarter. Alfred Jackson, David Allen, a big part of that. Alan Pitts, 3 catches for 59 yards in the game. Sean Millington's been just as effective catching the ball as Pitts has, and he made a big catch there on that last drive. Kelvin Anderson on the kickoff return for the 23-yard line. Anderson trying to barrel his way ahead. It does. Out to the 40-yard line. And the stop is made on the play by Kelly Lockbaum. So Calgary now down by 18 points with 5:21 to go. A long way to come back, but Jeff Garcia having the kind of night that would indicate it might be possible. 16 of 28, 212 yards. He was a lot hotter, though, in the first half.
Yeah, that's his first interception in 189 attempts, so he really had a string going, and that was the mistake that has really put him behind the 8 ball now, Gordon.
The Stamps begin at the 39, and Garcia in the shotgun. Up and slinging, he's got his man, and Terry Vaughn has a first down up to the 51-yard line. He's stopped on the play by B.G. Gallus, and what may be the play that turned the game around was the interception by Greg Frères on Calgary's last possession.
Well, Greg Frères has the shadow glen of Tom Europe, who's now freed out of the NFL hanging over his shoulder. And here he makes a case for him being the free safety on this team.
He's got better and better every week, so you're right. Tom Europe is in town.
Now Garcia for Vince Danielson. Gets past the first tackle. Danielson still going. Gets down to the BC 45-yard line. Seems like a week ago that Vince Danielson caught that touchdown pass in the first half that gave Calgary the lead.
And that touchdown pass settled the defense down on BC's side of the ball. That maybe sounds strange to say a touchdown would settle you down, but they changed coverage, stopped screwing around with their coverage and played blanket zone. That's allowed them to play as solid as they have tonight.
Calgary on the march here. The clock running at 4:10. Garcia, quarterback draw. Lots of room for Garcia. He slides down to the 30 for a 15-yard gain and another first down. And there's that linebacker mentality again for Jeff Garcia.
Well, there's no question Garcia's just going to take it right behind his center, Jamie Crysdale. All he needs is one block up front. And he does have that linebacker. A lot of guys with hook slide there.
And he took a bit of a shot at the end of that play, and we saw Garcia picking teeth out of his mouth in Montreal earlier this year. Now Garcia over the top, Pitts has a touchdown! Don't look now, back comes Calgary, and guess who leads them back? 31 yards from Jeff Garcia to Alan Pitts, his second touchdown catch of the year.
Well, this is a combination pattern to the short side of the field with Alan Pitts running a wheel route. He'll start to the sideline, a curl route by the outside receiver, and Jeff Garcia makes a good throw, but at 6'4", watch Alan Pitts go up and get it over Damian Lyons.
You know, Alan Pitts has drawn a lot of attention from the BC Lions secondary, but sooner or later, even if he's got two guys on him, throw him the football, because he's the type of athlete that can go up and get it.
Alan Pitts approaching another 100-yard game in his second game of the year. Mark McLaughlin puts the point after up and good. And the Calgary Calgary deficit rather, is now 11 points as BC's margin is cut to 34-23.
Well, we got another shot of the two receivers working in harmony, and Alan Pitts, as a result, gets a touch. Here's Alan Pitts. Now watch Terry Vaughn run the curl route. Now Damian Lyons is looking at the curl, and all of a sudden here comes Alan Pitts at him. And that's a switch out there, and it puts the corner in a bind. It puts the corner in a bind. He's watching the curl route. All of a sudden, here comes Alan Pitts wheeling around outside, and Garcia makes a nice throw.
That was a pretty good job by Garcia to look off the secondary and Greg Frères so he couldn't get over there and help out.
And that came down a moment too soon for Jeff Garcia and the Calgary Stampeders. Whoa. That was a big sigh you just saw there.
Well, you know when you jump as a quarterback, you saw him jump after he let it go, that means the ball's just a hair short. You're trying to get a little bit more on the ball after it's gone.
And Dave Archer just jumped doing that. Wow.
I've done that many a time. Most of mine ended up short of the receiver, but he got just enough on it that, and Alan Pitts at 6'4" has climbed a lot of frames to make some plays.
And watching in Edmonton are the Eskimos, who know that their old nemesis is back. Whoops. Mark McLaughlin ran right by the ball.
And where's Lucy?
Where's Lucy? She pulled the ball away. Now, we're in a dome, so there's no wind. What happened? And what do you call that? Well, what happened? He just...
It just fell off the tee.
You know, the kickers put the ball at such a weird angle on the tee that a lot of times it just falls. You see, he's got the tee upside down.
He uses the tee upside down.
And it's tilted at such a weird angle that a lot of times it'll just fall off there. Gravity finally pulls the ball off.
Hitting three off the tee. Now Al Shipman from the 20-yard line. Shipman reverses 40-yard line. A 57-yard kickoff, a 22-yard return. Calgary, after the long BC march and then the quick touchdown, goes 4 plays, 70 yards, and Alan Pitts with the 31-yard touchdown catch. And you know what, guys? This is just one of life's embarrassing moments.
Now, the other side of this story is if McLaughlin nudges that football forward, the Lions can attack it and recover it.
Yeah.
So he did a good job of jumping over it and resetting it.
Well, he actually got more movement on the tee than he did the ball, because the tee ended up about 3 inches in front of the football there. So that's like the old tee shot where you blow the tee about 30 yards down the fairway and look down, your golf ball's laying in a hole.
Been there. And speaking of such things, that's called a segue into business, guys. As we can see that Jason Clemens receiving some medical attention on the field, we can tell you the GVO, as they call it here, the Greater Vancouver Open, continues tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 Pacific, and Richard Sokol is your second-round leader.
I did it. Zokol is leading, and sorry, Glenn, and I think he's tied for the lead. And I don't have the gentleman's name that he's tied with, but Zokol fired a 65, I believe, today to capture the crowd in Canada here. Obviously, the homegrown son having a nice day.
I did a speaking engagement with Richard Zokol in the offseason in Saskatoon, and for the about 2 days that I was with him, I asked him every question. He couldn't get me away from him. Okay, so I'm in the sand, the ball's below my feet. I got, would you just go away?
Glenn Matthias also in that tie for the lead. Lions start just shy of their own 40-yard line, under 3 minutes to go here. The give goes off to Sean Millington. He gets to the 42-yard line, and we have reached the 3-minute warning. The BC Lions with an 11-point lead on the Calgary Stampeders. Friday Night Football returns to the stadium in BC Place right after this.
Well, now, are you sure there's any fish in here at all? Because we haven't latched into one today yet.
Tired of sitting on the sidelines? Want to be part of the game?
Be offensive. Be radical. The CFL is back and more radical than ever. The action never stops. It's hard-hitting, high-scoring football. Get in the game. Wear the attitude. Come on, go, go, go. Woo! Be offensive. Be radical. CFL football. Get in the game. You having more popcorn?
Earlier tonight in the Canadian Football League, Montreal Alouettes, thanks in large part to Mike Pringle's 144 yards, they improved to 6-3. Winnipeg falls to 1-8, 26-21 the final. Winnipeg has not won at home since October 13th, 96. Back to BC Place.
And that's just not good. And you've got to wonder if they won't be talking changes in Winnipeg this week. Personnel, you name it. That's a city with a long tradition of excellence and consistency. And that's not the case this year. In the meantime, Damon Allen has been excellent and consistent tonight in this football game. And Alfred Jackson has been the recipient of 2 touchdown passes, but Al Shipman, Mike Trevathan, Sean Millington, Larry Thompson, and even Andrew English have had their moment in the sun as well. And are we unanimous? If the season ends today, would he be your MVP, Glenn?
He'd be my MVP, and starting quarterback, but Mike Pringle's got to make an argument in the East as the MVP. Another big game tonight.
Second and long for Allen. Over the middle he goes. Mike Trevathan's right there into Calgary territory at the 52-yard line, and a key first down.
And the beauty of having a veteran receiver that understands zone coverage and just getting to a hole for you. Damon Allen realized he had Trevathan to the weak side, saw zone coverage, had good protection, only a 3-man rush, and the veteran receiver Mike Trevathan found the area, and Damon struck him with the ball.
And he's worth his weight in gold at a time like this, right?
No question about it, because those are the guys you look for to make plays in this situation. Just want to extend the drive, take as much time off the clock, and leave Calgary with a lot of field to cover.
Clock running now, under 2:15 to go in the 4th quarter. Allen pulls it out. Great fake by Allen. Back to Trevathan he goes. And Trevathan dives down to the 42-yard line. Damon Allen as tricky with the ball as anyone in this league.
Well, Damon Allen, when he runs the bootleg, it's his call. He makes the calls anyway, but nobody really knows whether he's going to hand the ball off or not. And you saw Marvin Pope was the victim there.
Oh, Was Marvin Pope ever the victim? Look at him go down to Sean Millington to stop the run. Wait, he doesn't have the ball.
Wait. There's something missing here.
Damon doesn't tell anybody. Doesn't even tell Sean Millington, and the offensive line is blocking the run. So Damon sees something that Pope's doing, the crashing attitude there, and he pulled it out.
2nd and inches for the Lions now. Clock running at 1:45. And Allen simply dives ahead. And we've talked about this the last couple of weeks with BC, the element of ball possession. And in a time like this, it's where you really see it come in handy. I mean, lightning strike, quick offenses are great, but BC has the ability now to just take a baseball bat and beat you over the head with it.
They really do. They have a great big offensive line that can pound you. They've got a running back that's a monster. In fact, his nickname is the Diesel. And apropos, he comes out and pops you big time. And he's got receivers that are veteran receivers. Jackson, Trevathan, Thompson, English, the young guy blending in nicely. They've got a nice unit.
26 first downs in the football game for BC. First down. Back to Millington. And more bumps and bruises for the Calgary defenders, and Alondra Johnson comes up to make the stop that time. 3 more hard-earned yards for Sean Millington. And the clock continues to run for the BC Lions. And last week we talked about it. Sean Millington, 26 carries, 212 yards, a BC Lions team record for rushing yards in a single game. And with all due respect for Sean Millington, it really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and how could you forget it? And I guarantee you some defensive backs in Saskatchewan that won't.
Adam Reeder does a nice thing, takes Millington out. He gets a nice round of applause. He makes his way off, slightly shaken up, and now Allen continues to run. Allen takes a shot late, and he's dropped to the 35-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down for BC.
Guess who made the late hit? Anthony McClanahan. He's already auditioning for the WWF.
Well, he's been quiet for the most part tonight. This is not the way you want to do it. Now, he didn't get the call, but it looked to me like he should have. That's a hook slide feet first. If you're going to protect the quarterback, you got to call that one.
That's a spear. Damon's limping off, too. He took a little shot on that one. I think you may see Damon out of the ball game if they get the ball back.
Lou Pasaglia will come on to try another field goal. This attempt will come from 42 yards out. And you can see Allen shaken up noticeably. One feature of Damon Allen's career among the many that's most impressive, he's never been seriously hurt.
With a guy that runs the football the way he does, it's amazing his durability. And he's not a big guy either. He's pretty slightly built. He's about 6'1", about 190 to 200 pounds. That's not a very big guy.
Lou Pasaglia from 42 yards out. Pasaglia puts it up and puts it through. 44 seconds to go. And it's now a lead of 14 for the BC Lions. Adam Reeder and Damon Allen know each other a little bit. They've been together a time or two, and he says, I teach him to think like a coach. Damon Allen has been 2 things in his career. Well, 3 things. Athletic, well tutored, and he's also been given an opportunity in most cases to do what he does best. And that's what Adam Reeder loves to do with him. He says, I want to see Damon doing all the things I know he can do. And now Damon Allen has a grasp of this game and his role in it that's as good as anyone's in the league. And an affection for his head coach, too.
Yeah, he genuinely likes Adam Reeder. It's a quarterback-coach partnership is exactly what it is.
First down, Jeff Garcia fires it out there for Kelvin Anderson, and Donnie Wilson comes up to make the stop. And the guys on the panel mentioned it earlier, but it bears repeating that the Grey Cup follows Don Wilson around. He won it with Edmonton in '87, got traded to Toronto, won it with the Argos in '91. Got traded to Edmonton, won it with the Eskimos in '93, went back to Toronto, won it with the Argos in '96.
Wow. I guess they rub his head when they go out to the games, don't they?
He'll be playing till he's 50 with luck like that, and some skill to go with it. Now Garcia with a dying quail over the head of Vince Danielson, and Garcia shaking up a little bit.
Well, he was limping after the last play. It looked like it was his hip, but this time it's either his ankle or his knee. But just as he threw that ball.
Well, That'd be just what the Calgary Stampeders needed at this point in the game. It's getting out of reach, and now their starting quarterback appears to be hurt. He was limping right there.
Jeff gets flushed up in the pocket. He just wants to dump it right here and just step wrong. And
he's hurt. He's hurt already.
That's what the AstroTurf does to you. There's just no give, and you get the joint in the wrong position, and there's just no give in the ground.
Tony Martino comes on to punt, and all eyes right now on the Calgary quarterback being attended to by therapist Pat Clayton. And one last chance for Irma Wenzel of Calgary.
This is it.
This is it, Irma. Tony Martino, the punt. If you can get down and call the Calgary sideline, get Tony a cut. If Al Shipman takes it back for a touchdown, Irma Wenzel of Calgary wins $1 million. Al Shipman from the 25 fell down.
And so did Irma. Somewhere in her living room, she just hit the floor.
Irma just threw the TV out. 17 seconds to go, and now the concern for the Calgary Stampeders is Garcia. Is it the hip or the knee? It looks like it might be the hip.
Yeah, they're pointing in several areas of the body. It looked like they were trying to stretch the hip a little bit, but what a complete victory tonight for the BC Lions. I think they've done everything well tonight. Special teams played great defense after they figured out that, hey, all we got to do is play zone, take Alan Pitts away that way, not play man and put us in bad positions. And Damon Allen has had another MVP-type night distributing the football.
Things get tough now for the Lions next week in Montreal. BC plays 3 of its next 4 games on the road. And Damon Allen will kneel down and then do it one more time. And the next time you'll see us on Friday Night Football, you won't want to miss it. Calgary-Edmonton, the return game of the Labor Day home and home. It's at Commonwealth Stadium annually. Edmonton's biggest crowd of the year on the grass.
And if there's ever a game that I wanted to do as a broadcaster or go see as a fan, that's one of the games. Is Adam Rita finally gets dumped on here at home. And that's a good kind of dumping, Glenn. You get dumped on a lot of ways, but this is a good way to get dumped.
Any coach in the league will take the Gatorade shower anytime.
The BC Lions with the win at home, and an impressive one it is. 37-23 for BC. The Lions have put together back-to-back impressive wins and remain just a game behind Edmonton for first place in the West.
Cordell Stewart, man, I've been a big fan of yours ever since the Hail Mary pass against Michigan.
Thanks, Pinball. I hear you've been doing some great stuff in the CFL. Even though y'all have those racing stripe footballs.
And Slash, if we had 4 downs to make 10 yards, we'd never give the ball up.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we had 20 yards in the end zone, we'll score 50 points again.
Cordell, check this out.
But we still have Sunday Night Football on TSN.
And Slash, we've got Friday Night Football on TSN.
Will the greens be greener north of the 49th? Well, it's going to happen for someone on the PGA Tour like it did last year for Guy Borrells. TSN's got you covered for the 2nd year of the newest stop on the tour, and it happens right here in Canada. Keep it tuned right here for the Greater Vancouver Open on TSN.
It was a big game in the CFL's West Division standings, and it goes to the BC Lions, who solidify their spot in 2nd place. Just 2 points again behind first place Edmonton. Calgary falling to 4 and 5, and a tie with the Saskatchewan Roughriders for 3rd place and last spot in the CFL West. 37-23 the final score for the BC Lions, looking so impressive again for a 2nd straight week. And when there's been talk about a little inconsistency on a very good and talented football club, this is something Adam Reid, I'm sure, likes to see. Well, the coach is with us in BC Place, fresh off his Gatorade bath, and I'm sure this one is a little bit sweeter than maybe the other wins in the season so far. Adam, congratulations. Just tell me about how it feels, especially to string together such impressive back-to-back victories.
Well, it feels great. You got to give a lot of credit to the guys. They rallied around to try to stay focused. We thought that the Montreal game, we weren't prepared. We weren't focused. The guys wouldn't listen. So we had some long practices to iron some things out, and the guys rallied and they played well. I got to give all the credit to the coaches and basically the players, because they're the ones that make the plays.
Coach Rita, it's Les Brown.
Hey, what's up, baby?
Hey, not bad, Coach.
I'm glad you weren't playing out that corner. I know that it's quick passes who've gone the other way. We never throw one against you.
Coach, can you tell us, just comment about how good Damon Allen is playing for you this year?
Well, I like Damon Allen. He's kind of guy that has got a lot of skills, and he stayed within what we wanted to do. He's really, really focused on the offense. He loves the offense. He's been hanging in there with it, and the receivers have come to play, and they're in the right spots now, and it looks really good. We've found resurrected Sean Middleton. He's finally half healthy. We were a little worried tonight because Alfred Jackson pulled a hamstring 2 days ago, and that's why he wasn't in there for about 2 or 3 series. It came back to him. Then he went back in the game and made plays for us.
Hi, Adam. It's Marty York here.
How you doing, Marty?
Good. Adam, what are you going to do? I know this is a pleasant problem, but what are you going to do when Philpott's ready to come back?
Well, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Our offense right now seems to be clicking with the guys that we have in there. With Alfred Shipman, who has the ability to do some running, it spreads them out a little bit more. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. It's a great, I guess, problem to have. But if I had my druthers, I'd stay the way we are. And we have to play with an imported offensive line because of injuries. So, I guess I'll make the decision before the Montreal game.
Hey, Coach, it's Bob Obilovich here.
Hey, how you doing, Bob?
Good, Adam. You were talking about that offensive line. The way Bradley's playing in there and the way you've played these last 2 weeks, I know you've changed your ratio going with the non-imported slot, Andrew English. As a former coach, it's tough making those changes when your team's playing well.
Oh, yes, it is. And, I don't know. I think we found the chemistry we need. Andrew English is a guy that he pounds away at you. He'll make the play for you when you need to make the play. He'll make the block, and so he fits in quite well. And so that allows us to play Bradley. I think we're a much better football team that way. But only time will tell. And I thought we played a lot better on special teams too tonight. We just allowed them that one long run, and we'd like to eliminate that to help our defense out a little bit. But I guess the best tonic is basically to try to control the clock and get 32, 33 minutes out of our offense. But we played well as a team the last couple of weeks, and every time we've won, we've played well as a team. We're not a great football team. We're just a team that works hard, and we try to roll up our sleeves and get to work and get busy.
Coach Rita, maybe you can comment a minute about your defense. They've been playing well the last 2 weeks.
Well, our defense has kept us in most ball games. They come up with big plays, big turnovers at key times. They cause fumbles. They get interceptions. Occasionally, we have a lapse here and there. But when we play our D, when we play our zone coverage and our match coverage and our combination man type coverage with pressure, we're a good football team. But when we get a little bit out of sync on defense, especially in zone, you get big plays on us. So we continuously trying to not give that up. But sometimes those things happen.
Adam, do you draw any comparisons between this team this year and the one that you coached to the Grey Cup in '91 in Toronto?
Well, it's a different kind of team. I think that every team develops its own personality, and we're slowly trying to, develop an identity, a personality, and stuff like that. We're not quite sure what we are right now, except that, we want to give the ball to Millie and get the ball quick out to our receivers and let them make plays. And on defense, we just got to make the big stops and get turnovers. In our kicking game, we need a return here and there to set up our field position. Just play on like Bob, he knows it's hard to move the length of the field against air, let alone with a defense in there. So we try to get good field position and not beat ourselves by turning the ball over on offense. And that's basically the trademark of both teams out here today. They didn't turn the ball over much. And we did a better job tonight of protecting the football than they did. That's why we won the game.
Yeah, Adam, I was going to actually talk to you about that a bit, because going into the game, and your team has been playing well all year, especially in the plus-minus situation. and Calgary's moved up in that regard. So there was only one turnover in tonight's game, so, I mean, it was like two heavyweight champs out there. That was an excellent game to watch, and you guys are most deserving for a great effort and a good win, as you mentioned, with everyone concerned.
Thank you very much, and, you know, hopefully we can keep this up and stay focused and not get, you know, to thinking that we're so good that we can't, you know, we have to just show up, and that's what we try to do. You know, in the Montreal game, we just showed up, and they, you know, Dave Ritchie's a good football coach, and they cleaned our clock. So you know, we have to stay focused, and we have to concentrate, and we have to live within the team concept.
Well, Adam, for all this football talk, let's not forget why you really won. You wore those white jerseys. I guess you're not going to take them off for the rest of the season.
You know, I was really tempted to wear my ugly hat that everybody makes fun of me because I wear it because it's waterproof, and and I did it tonight, and I got all wet. But basically, you know, my mom told me never wear a hat in the house, and we're in our house, and I decided I better not do that. Even though I got a lot of calls saying you have to wear that ugly hat. But,
I thought your wife called and told you not to wear it.
well, she told me to comb my hair at least.
Well, that's something I never had to worry about.
Yeah.
Coach, thank you. I know you got to go, and enjoy this victory. Thanks very much.
Yeah, and hello to Joss.
Adam Rita, head coach of the BC Lions, victorious tonight for the second straight week and looking very good in the process. Well, he had a shower, and I think he'd be willing to take these showers for the rest of the season if it means this. We'll have more post-game show right after this.